Chapter 24-23. When Misa Fukada thought that she had escaped Su-yun's capture with a smoke bomb, she didn't expect that when she ran downstairs and was about to leave, Su-yun directly blocked her at the door of the foot spa. Even the young man at the door was surprised. He didn't know how Su-yun came down from the sky. It was really inconceivable for him to suddenly appear. Su-yun chose to go downstairs from the window to intercept Misa Fukada. When Misa Fukada realized all this, it was too late. She couldn't escape from Su-yun's hands. There were two katanas at the entrance of the foot spa. Misa Fukada saw them at a glance. She didn't hesitate and went forward to pull out the two katanas. Generally speaking, Huaxia people wouldn't put such things in their homes. This was because Huaxia people respected swords. Since ancient times, there had been a saying that swords were given to heroes. Very few Huaxia people liked to put a katana in a certain place. It seemed that the katana carried more murderous aura than immortal aura. Yamaguchi Shin was a Japanese, so it was natural for him to put a katana there. Perhaps for Japanese people, it was also to guard their homes. Many Japanese people with high positions liked to put a katana in a certain place in their homes or offices. As for Yamaguchi Shin, he had placed two swords. One was a double-layered sword rack, with a 3-foot-long odachi on top and a longer one at the bottom. It was at least 1.5 meters long. Su-yun also knew that this type of sword was what the Japanese called an odachi. The big katana was not common in modern Japanese mainstream martial arts, but it was often mentioned in the history of Japanese weapons. It was mainly active in the late Kamakura period to the middle Muromachi period. However, in the history of martial arts, there were very few people who were proficient in this weapon. Kamakura samurai were proud of their boldness and wrist strength, and they could boast of their mighty weapons. Katanas with a long blade body often appeared on the battlefield. The Japanese used the big katana swordsmanship. The katana and the arm were straighter. When the katana was chopped down from the top of the head, it would bounce back to the ground. For this reason, some large katanas were not heat-treated at all, so as to avoid cracking when they hit the ground. However, from this, it could be seen that the Japanese had completely used up the length of the odachi, as well as its strength, to bring out the advantages of the odachi. This led to a situation where people who used the odachi preferred to use it with both hands. This way, they could deal a greater blow to their opponents. Even if they didn't use the odachi, the Japanese preferred to wield the sword with both hands. That way, the strength would be more advantageous. It was completely different from Huaxia's single-handed sword. Currently, the existing sects in Japan mainly focused on the odachi. The main ones were the odachi sword drawing technique of Hayashiki Mei Ryu, the Kaguru odachi sword technique, the ancient Yuenshin Ryu odachi group technique, and the odachi sword technique of Yagyu Shin Ryu. Furthermore, there was no odachi technique in the ninjutsu taught by Miyamoto Musashi. Therefore, Su-yun was somewhat puzzled and surprised when he saw Misa Fukada holding two swords. Due to the length and weight of the odachi, it didn't appear in the usage of ninjutsu. However, Misa Fukada's current posture was the posture of ninjutsu. As the name suggested, ninjutsu was to use two swords to fight. However, in the process of evolution, the core was chosen to be ninjutsu. The midsection structure of ninjutsu could be understood as the basic Tao of ninjutsu, while those who promoted structures other than the midsection were evil ways that went against the basic principles. For a long time in Japan, ninjutsu was regarded as a heresy. Wielding swords with both hands was also regarded as an evil sword, which was not the right way to go. Objectively speaking, the operation of two swords was done with one hand. In terms of strength, it was naturally inferior to ninjutsu's two-handed slash. Moreover, it was easy to lose focus in a battle with two swords. As the saying went, the heart was not focused. In a life-and-death battle, a slight negligence would lead to a fatal defeat. Ninjutsu was undoubtedly a crazy swordsmanship that went against common sense. Some people would also say that although ninjutsu's slash power was not enough, its combat strategy focused on technique. It used the strange swordsmanship of two swords to confuse the opponent and win. In principle, the technique of using two swords in ninjutsu was more than ninjutsu. This was because the technique of ninjutsu was the combination of two swords. Of course, it was more than ninjutsu. In fact, this was also a kind of wonderful theory. The technique of using swords did not care about the number of swords. It was all because of the swords. Ninjutsu could also use dazzling techniques. At least, one could combine the chi and the blade in the hand into one and display extraordinary techniques. Aodachi and Iodachi. This combination of ninjutsu really made Su-yun feel that it was a novelty. Misa Fukada held the Odachi in her left hand and the Odachi in her right hand. She slowly turned her wrist. Her left wrist pressed down and her right wrist turned up. The hilts of the two swords were directly in front of her chest. The blades of the two swords added up to 4 meters. This posture was quite terrifying. The young man at the door had already covered his head and ran away. It was not easy to work for the Japanese. There were people playing with swords all the time. It was too scary. You can use ninjutsu like this? Su-yun said with emotion. Master. Misa Fukada snorted. Don't talk nonsense. Say, if I give you another sword, can you also use it in your mouth to play ninjutsu? Su-yun smiled. I've seen anime. The ninjutsu is so cool. What's it called? 72 Troubled Phoenixes? No, it's 100 Troubled Phoenixes? Yes, isn't there the Asura's 3 heads 6 arms 9 swords technique? Show me that too. Of course, the things in anime were not realistic. They could be done casually. You've seen too many stories. Ninjutsu is enough to deal with you. Misa Fukada was ready to attack at any time. That's right. It's impossible to use 3 heads 6 arms. Even if you have one in your mouth and another in your anus, you can only use ninjutsu. Su-yun paused and added, actually, there's one more thing. Your cleavage is not bad. You can also use ninjutsu. It's the limit. Misa Fukada was furious. You humiliated us Japanese samurai. Today, I will make you regret it. As soon as she finished speaking, Misa Fukada made her move. Her katana was indeed powerful, but it was a pity that she couldn't use it in this place. Misa Fukada also had a kodachi in her hand, which greatly affected the performance of her katana. In this situation, how could Misa Fukada be Su-yun's opponent? Even Kaneda Tekawawa, a super samurai master of ninjutsu, was defeated by Su-yun. Misa Fukada had no chance of winning. Moreover, the kodachi's flexibility was limited. Su-yun easily avoided Misa Fukada's more than 10 moves and found a flaw. He kicked Misa Fukada's right wrist. Misa Fukada's wrist was numb, and the kodachi fell to the ground. Then Su-yun suddenly grabbed Misa Fukada's left wrist and twisted it. The kodachi in Misa Fukada's left hand also fell to the ground. Misa Fukada, who had lost her kodachi, had no power to resist at all. She could only let Su-yun subdue her. In order to get rid of Su-yun's grasp, Misa Fukada accidentally fell to the ground. Su-yun did not have any intention of being gentle with her. He directly sat on Misa Fukada's body. Misa Fukada struggled a few times but could not break free. Su-yun suddenly reached out, pinched her mouth open, and slapped her back. Misa Fukada spat out the poison hidden in her mouth. It seems that your Sakura group members are prepared to die when they come to Huaxia. Su-yun said, will you also prepare to commit seppuku after I let you go? Misa Fukada knew that she had lost completely. She did not say anything. She just closed her eyes and waited for Su-yun to kill her in any way. If Su-yun did not kill her, she would definitely end her life in her own way. Losing meant death. Su-yun knew that he could not control her life or death. Even if he stopped her from taking the poison, it was impossible to stop her from biting her tongue. Misa Fukada had already made a decision. I won't say anything. If you want to take me away, it is absolutely impossible. I would rather choose to kill myself than let you take me away. Then you can kill yourself. Su-yun said, I don't care. The entire first floor of Footbath City was in a mess because of the fight between the two. Yamaguchi Shin immediately ran downstairs when he heard the sound stopped. Seeing the mess, he was furious. He suddenly picked up a huge pure copper golden toad placed on the cashier counter and smashed it towards Chin Haodong. Fortunately, Su Yun reacted quickly and dodged in time, but Misa Fukada was not so lucky. Her head was directly smashed by the pure copper toad, and her head split open. That disgusting scene was simply indescribable. Chapter 24-24. Yamaguchi Shin was shocked when he saw this scene. He really didn't want to smash someone to death. He just wanted to vent his dissatisfaction. Who knew that it would turn out like this? Shirley, who had followed Shin Yamaguchi downstairs, grabbed Shin Yamaguchi and pinned him against the wall. This was a crime of murder in China. Yamaguchi Shin was panting heavily. He never thought that he would end up like this. He opened his eyes wide and pointed at Su Yun. "It's you. You're the one who pressed him down. That's why he couldn't escape." Su Yun pointed at the surveillance camera. "It's recording everything that happened. You can explain it to the police when they come." After that, Su Yun quickly dialed Chen Wei's number and explained the situation briefly. Chen Wei immediately mobilized the relevant departments to rush to the scene and shut down the foot spa shop. The entire foot spa shop, starting from Yamaguchi Shin, a few management staff, and dozens of Japanese female technicians were all detained. Of course, none of the customers who came to have fun today could escape. They were all trapped on the bed. The soundproofing of the room was so good that no one heard such a big commotion downstairs. The staff who heard the noise and wanted to escape were all stopped at the door by Su Yun. None of them could leave. The police could be said to have gained a lot tonight. Of course, Chen Wei also rushed to the scene personally. When Yamaguchi Shin was arrested, he kept shouting, "I want to call the Japanese consulate. You can't take me away like this. You'll regret it. Let me go. You're suspected of running an illegal entertainment venue and killing people on the spot. Do you think the people from the Japanese consulate can help you?" Chen Wei said coldly, "Stop dreaming. Only the punishment of the Huaxia law awaits you." "I'm Japanese," Yamaguchi Shin said angrily. "So what if you're Japanese? This is Huaxia, not Japan." Chen Wei was angry. "Do you think you Japanese can do these illegal things on Huaxia's territory? Let me tell you, that's impossible. Crimes committed in Huaxia must be dealt with according to Huaxia's rules. If I catch you, no one will be able to save you." Shin Yamaguchi looked at the angry Chen Wei in disbelief. He couldn't believe that a small bureau chief dared to yell at him like that. He was a Japanese with status. He was a Japanese who frequented the upper class of Koto Island. "Take him away. If he dares to talk any more nonsense, stuff his mouth shut for me," Chen Wei said. Yamaguchi Shin was thrown into the police car. He was about to explain his identity to the police officer who escorted him, but as soon as he opened his mouth, a towel was stuffed into his mouth. His tongue was crooked, and he couldn't say a word. All he could do was whimper. Su Yun smiled and looked at Chen Wei. "Chief Chen, you've worked hard today. That's my duty. You guys are the ones who have worked hard." Chen Wei said to Su Yun and Shirley, "It's getting late. You guys go back and rest. I'll take care of the rest. I'll also write down the situation of this Japanese woman in detail. Su Yun, you don't have to worry about it. Go and do your own things." "Thank you very much. Su Yun, I'll make a detailed report on this matter to the higher-ups. Someone in charge will contact you." "Okay." Chen Wei nodded. Because of his relationship with Su Yun, he completely trusted Su Yun's words. Otherwise, if he followed the rules, he would definitely let Su Yun and Shirley cooperate with him. At least before the matter was clarified and before the higher-ups issued any information, Su Yun and Shirley had to be under surveillance. But there was no need for that now. Chen Wei understood Su Yun's situation and knew that he must have a special reason for doing all this. After a night of torment, Su Yun didn't even bother to take a shower when she returned home. She just lay on the bed. Yu Meiren was extremely tired from the shock and was already sound asleep. Bai Xiaoye and Chou Yun heard the noise and walked out of their rooms at the same time. The two of them looked at each other and walked to Su Yun's room together. Bai Xiaoye knocked on the door gently. "Brother, you're back." Su Yun sat up. "Come in." The two of them opened the door and walked into Su Yun's room. Su Yun stretched lazily. "Why aren't you two asleep yet? What time is it? It's impossible for you to take so long to send the pigeons. We guessed that you went to investigate the woman who escaped," Bai Xiaoye said. "Did you find her after all that trouble?" Chou Yun was also very concerned about this matter. "You better not act rashly alone in the future. Even if Lin Gur is gone, you can discuss with us before you do anything." Yes, of course." Su Yun nodded. "Don't worry. It's settled. You don't have to think so much." Bai Xiaoye was surprised. "You found her? How is she now?" "Dead." "Su Yun, the Qingdao police will take care of the rest. You don't have to worry about it. When the pigeons reach Japan, the Sakura group will definitely suffer. By then, they won't have time to come to Huaxia to cause trouble." What about her? Bai Xiaoye asked. Everyone knew that she was talking about Yu Meiren. "I don't think it's suitable for her to stay here in this state. Brother, I don't mean to chase her away. I'm just worried." Su Yun nodded. "I understand what you mean. I'm also quite worried. I'll ask her tomorrow. If she wants to leave, I'll send her back. If she wants to stay and play for a few more days, I'll take her to play for a few more days." Bai Xiaoye nodded. "It's good that you can find a way to distract her." "I'll try my best," Su Yun said. "All right, if there's nothing else, you guys can go to sleep. I'm tired too." Only then did the two of them leave Su Yun's room in relief. The next morning, no one expected Yu Meiren to wake up so early. She prepared breakfast for everyone. She seemed to be in a good mood, as if there were no aftereffects from yesterday's incident. After Su Yun woke up, Yu Meiren told him her thoughts. She decided to go back today. She had already called the team and asked Wan Guangxiao to arrange for someone to pick her up. Su Yun was stunned. "You've only been out for a few days. Also, if you really want to go back, I can send you back. There's no need to trouble them to pick you up." "No, you still have a lot of things to deal with here. You can't keep wasting your time because of me," Yu Meiren said. "Also, I'm not going back to the army directly. I have to go somewhere to discuss a problem with a teacher. This problem concerns whether the Ebola virus can be controlled and infected in a short period of time." "You're going to study this?" Su Yun was a little surprised. Yu Meiren nodded. "Originally, I thought that there was no need to rush the research and that it could be done slowly. However, yesterday's incident made me realize that there is a group of extremists who won't give me so much time. If they get the method to develop the Ebola virus through other channels, this virus weapon will appear in this world again." Su Yun nodded. He didn't deny this point. As long as something could be done the first time, it could definitely be done the second time. "So, I have to develop something to deal with the Ebola virus before the Japanese get their hands on it," Yu Meiren said. "Then we won't have to be afraid." Regarding this request, Su Yun had no reason to refuse her. "Don't worry. The chief said that he will arrange for Han Zhan and Chen Feng to personally escort me to meet that teacher," Yu Meiren said. "I won't let you down." Su Yun smiled. "Then I'll wish you success in advance. Come, let's eat first. After lunch, I'll take you to buy some specialties from Qingdao. Since they have to drive here, we can bring some back for everyone to eat." "Okay. That's a good idea." Yu Meiren smiled sweetly. Han Zhan and Chen Feng arrived at Qingdao at noon. It seemed that Yu Meiren must have contacted Wan Guangxiao last night. Otherwise, they wouldn't have arrived so quickly. They must have rushed to Qingdao before dawn. It would have taken them at least 7 hours to drive here. After sending off Yu Meiren, Su Yun felt a little disappointed. However, when he thought about how he still had a bunch of things to deal with regarding Sky Entertainment Group, he quickly put the unhappy matter to the back of his mind and focused on his work. Chapter 24-25. When a person put all their energy into one thing, they would feel especially fulfilled. Soo-yoon was like this. This time, he really immersed himself in work. Compared to before, Soo-yoon felt the joy of working at Sky Entertainment for the first time. Because of Sky Entertainment's continuous investment, Qingdao Film and Television Base had also skyrocketed to become the largest film and television base in the Eastern Hemisphere. Every day, there would be all kinds of crews filming there. Even if it was August 15th, National Day, and all kinds of other special days, there would always be filming. There was no such thing as rest. Many people only saw the glamorous side of actors and stars, but they simply didn't see the price of success behind the scenes. When a person hasn't become a big star, it's very likely that he or she would be scolded by the director. Many times, there would be people who couldn't hold on. Not to mention the pressure of being a star, there were many people who couldn't even bear the pressure of playing an ordinary role. When there were no lines, they felt like they didn't make it. When there were lines, they couldn't bear the pressure and were dumbfounded as soon as the cameras started rolling. Before, Soo-yoon had only heard the artists signed by the company say that this circle wasn't easy to survive in. Now, he understood that it really wasn't that easy to survive in this circle. There were also tens of thousands of people who ran to the masses every day, from 30 to 80. Those who could get 1 or 2 lines only made 100 yuan. Those who could really guarantee a basic life had to at least get a medium special contract. Only then could they make 400 or 500 yuan a day. Perhaps many people had heard that it was only 2,000 or 3,000 yuan a day to get to the top of a special team. However, how many people could reach that step? There were at least tens of thousands of people who made a living around Sky Entertainment Studio. How many of them could make it out alive? The only way to make more money at the beginning was to do martial arts. Soo-yoon had observed a few martial arts, and their skills were not bad. He was afraid that they wanted to be martial arts since they were young but couldn't understand the mystery behind it. Therefore, they couldn't become real masters and could only do martial arts to make a living. Those who mixed in with the masses all had a dream, and that was to become someone like Wang Chongbao. But in the entire Hua Xia circle, how many people could make it out? Wang Chongbao came from the Yenjing Entertainment Circle. In a huge group of at least 500,000 people, how many Wang Chongbao could make it out? This probability was no different from winning millions in the lottery. However, there were still countless people who believed that they would definitely be able to make a name for themselves in this circle, and they were willing to work hard for it. This was normal. Everyone had their own dreams. Some people were determined to pursue their dreams. This was something worthy of respect. Perhaps many people's dreams were laughable in the eyes of others, but in his heart, they were the most sacred and could not be insulted. Some people said that the dream of not being mocked by others was not worth realizing, and this was not wrong. At least in the circle of extras, many of them were laughed at, looked down upon by their relatives and friends, and said that they were daydreaming. It was impossible for them to become a big shot. But in the end, there were still people who walked out. This was what these people would fight for. It wasn't easy to survive in any industry. Those who mocked the extras were themselves in another industry. There were many people in the e-commerce industry, but how many of them could become like Mr. Ali? There were also many people in the real estate industry. There were also a few Evergrande and Wanda. Every industry had its own outstanding people. This was normal. There was a pyramid in every industry. One shouldn't look down on extras in the film studio just because they worked in Ali and wrote code in Ali. Everyone was the same. When they mocked extras for never being able to make it to the top, others could also mock them for never being able to make it to Mr. Ma. As long as one worked hard, there would always be a time when they would be valued. From the masses to the special agent, from the special agent to the supporting role, from the supporting role to the protagonist, wasn't this also a path of appreciation? The blue-collar worker who first entered the company trained hard to become a white-collar worker who could lead a blue-collar worker. Then, he was promoted to a silver-collar worker who could participate in the management and leadership of a white-collar worker. Finally, he became a gold-collar worker who had the ability to judge and make decisions and lead a silver-collar worker who didn't climb up step by step. Of course, there were unspoken rules in every industry. There was almost no one who didn't know the unspoken rules of the entertainment industry. If someone became famous overnight, it would be because they slept with a certain director or investor. If someone became the main character after just entering the industry, it would be because they had an unspeakable secret with the big boss of the entertainment industry. This was something that had been circulating throughout society. However, were there no unspoken rules in other places? How many people who embarked on a career path would not hesitate to give their wives to their leaders in order to be promoted? Soo-yoon encountered such a thing at the dinner table. When he was eating with some unit leaders, the head of a unit patted the shoulder of a small sector-level leader and said, "Your wife complained to me. She said that you are always fierce to her. Pay attention in the future." Then, the small sector-level leader smiled and said, "No, no." At that time, everyone present smiled very obscurely. Everyone knew what kind of things were hidden in this. How could a young man with no power or background enter the unit become a section chief before the age of 30? Everyone in the unit knew that it was because he found a beautiful wife. This beautiful wife was not from their unit, but she often went in and out of their unit. However, she did not go to him, but to the head's office. Many times, it was the head who picked her up and sent her home from work. Even the head often went to the small sector-level leader's house to drink at night after social engagements. After drinking, he would stay the night. Every time the head of their unit wanted to stay the night, the small sector-level leader would always suddenly have something to do and have to work overtime. Or he would directly go to a bath center and book a room for the night. These were all true stories that happened around them. It was said that the entertainment industry was dirty. It was said that people in high positions in the entertainment industry liked to play dirty. In fact, this kind of situation existed in the entire society. And sometimes, in some fields, it was even dirtier. In the entertainment industry, there was no lack of directors who liked women. And when these people drank, they did not shy away from talking about some things. Some high-profile people even liked to show off. When they drank too much, they would say, "So-and-so, it was because of him that they could get a room and wait for me with just a phone call." Whenever these high-profile people with high status in the entertainment industry said such things, the people around them would always flatter them. This was because these people flaunted in order to make others admire them, respect them, and give them the sense of pride they wanted. However, at this time, these people would say, "What is he? He only occasionally played with a few small actresses. How could he be compared to some of the leaders with amazing power who had hundreds and thousands of lovers? If he slept with one a day, he would sleep with them for 3 years." There were also some people with great power who played with more tricks. Sisters, mother and daughter flowers, all of them. These were all things that people in the entertainment industry could not do. In other words, those in the entertainment industry who were interested in such things would at most try to sneak into the entertainment industry or try to enter the entertainment industry. However, those with great power and influence were different. They would have the opportunity to sneak into any industry they wanted. They did not even need to look for it themselves. There would be people who would come to them. In this society where the bottom line of morality was getting lower and lower, these things were not rare at all. In the face of all these unspoken rules, such as treating people to a meal or giving expensive gifts, these were not tactics at all. They were just ways to bond. Soo-yoon was sitting in his position today, so of course, there were all kinds of temptations. However, there were not many female artists who dared to stick to Soo-yoon. Everyone knew very well what status Ruan Qingxuang and Zhua Meiyan had besides Soo-yoon, so they knew very well what they could do and what they could not do. As for the people outside Sky Entertainment who wanted to enter Sky Entertainment, they did not know so much. It was not uncommon for them to send themselves to him. Soo-yoon really admired these people, because these people were very well informed. If he went on a business trip to do something, as long as it was delivered to his door, they would definitely be able to accurately find the hotel he was staying in and the room number he was staying in. Chapter 24-26. These people who took the initiative to approach Soo-yoon were basically people who wanted to use Soo-yoon to enter Sky Entertainment Group and then use Sky Entertainment strength to package themselves. It was actually very simple for people to become famous. As long as someone was willing to spend money on packaging, hype, and publicity, even if they didn't know anything and didn't have any social experience or social foundation, they could still become very popular. What did the three little boys who were a mess on the internet have? What did they know? They hadn't even matured yet, but they were already very popular. Their hands moved in slow motion, and many girls their age and a group of strange aunties were instantly killed. It turned out that the more blank a piece of paper was, the more articles could be written. And the more scheming a person was, the harder it was for them to succeed. Of course, there were many people in this circle who relied on scheming to become successful, and there were also some who relied on hype to become famous. Many people who became famous in the entertainment industry were now very vigilant. There were many scheming newcomers who relied on big names to become famous. But most of the time, these people wouldn't be popular for too long. And those who relied on negative news to become popular also wouldn't be popular for too long. If someone really became popular for too long, it could only mean that people's values were different now. Just like what Soo-yoon said to Yu Marin that day, as long as one could withstand the pressure and scolding, one could also become famous. In this hype society, there were many ways to become famous. As long as one was willing to risk everything, as long as one was shameless, anything was possible. The world was big and there were all kinds of strange things. This was the current society. Many people would use their connections to find Soo-yoon and hope that he could help make someone famous. This was something that Soo-yoon had to face every day. And Soo-yoon preferred to refuse this kind of thing. If he couldn't learn to refuse this kind of thing, then he wouldn't be able to do anything else every day. There would be people who would ask him out to talk about this kind of thing every minute. And today, Soo-yoon couldn't refuse this kind of thing. Soo-yoon had to give this face. This all came from a phone call from Zhua Lengyue. How have you been recently? I heard from Xiao Yi that you are very dedicated to your work now. Little mom, you flatter me. Soo-yoon smiled. What can I do for you? Can't I look for you when I'm free? Zhua Lengyue said, I'll call you to ask about your situation. Knowing that you're working so hard, Zhang Taisui will be able to sleep better down there. I don't think he could sleep well down there. Zhua Lengyue's words had always been so sharp. Soo-yoon didn't know what to say and could only laugh it off. How's Xiaoye doing recently? Do you have a boyfriend? Zhua Lengyue asked. Soo-yoon shook his head. I don't know. What have you done as her brother? Zhua Lengyue sighed helplessly. Little Yi is really unlucky to have a brother like you. You don't even worry about your own sister? Soo-yoon was really a little confused. Zhua Lengyue had instilled in by Xiaoye a thought since she was young that there were no good men and they were all unreliable. Bai Xiaoye, who had such a thought, wasn't someone who could be easily taken down. This couldn't be blamed on him. Moreover, this was a society where love was free. Was he going to force Bai Xiaoye to go on blind dates? If that was the case, Bai Xiaoye would definitely fall out with him. Little mom, it's better for Xiaoye to make her own decision. Soo-yoon said. Make her own decision? How long will that take? Zhua Lengyue said, I don't care. She's your sister. It's up to you. Pay attention to her and see if there are any good men around her. At least let her experience the feeling of being in love. Soo-yoon grinned. Little mom, why do I feel that this doesn't sound like something you would say? People's thoughts change. Zhua Lengyue said, and you're not young anymore. There are so many beautiful girls around you. Have you chosen one yet? Soo-yoon was speechless. Why was he asking for trouble? Zhua Lengyue snorted. You're really your father's son. You have a lot of romantic debts. Forget it. If you don't want to make a decision, I'll make it for you when the time is right. Little mom, I won't trouble you with this. Soo-yoon was really helpless. If you haven't thought about it, then just say it. Zhua Lengyue said, You're not troubling me. Think about it carefully. Which one is more suitable for you? Let me tell you, Zhua Meiyan has given up almost all of her youth for Sky Entertainment. I hope you know what you're doing. Soo-yoon was startled. He didn't know what Zhua Lengyue was going to say to him. Of course, I also know Ruan Qingshuang. You've been through so much together. She was gentle to you when you were at the lowest point of your life, Zhualangyue said. Speaking of this, she also realized that Su Yun was really not easy to choose. In addition to them, Su Yun also had his childhood sweetheart Yu Marin, and many, many more. After a pause, Zhualangyue suddenly said, "You're more romantic than your father. Little mom, don't joke with me. I'll definitely do what you ask me to do. I'll try my best to help Xiaoye. Don't worry," Zhualangyue said, "then I'll leave it to you." Don't worry, little mom. Do you have any other instructions? Su Yun had just returned from a business trip. Now he wanted to take a good bath and lie on the bed for a while to relax himself. There's one thing I need your help with, Zhualangyue said. I want you to help me sign someone as an artist in Sky Entertainment. Su Yun was stunned. Who? Male or female? A girl. Zhualangyue said, I owe her parents a favor, so I have to help her when she needs it. Su Yun nodded. She wants to work in the entertainment circle, but it's not easy. That's why I'm looking for you, Zhualangyue said. In addition, I want to tell you that not only I owe her parents, but you also owe her parents. So you have to take good care of her for me. Su Yun was even more confused when he heard this. How did he end up owing someone a favor? He didn't do anything. If someone else had made such a request, Su Yun would have declined. He didn't have the time to package a newcomer. But since Zhualangyue asked, he had to do it. I want you to sign this girl into Sky Entertainment, not because I want you to make her popular or an A-list superstar. I just want you to keep her around so that you can take care of her. Zhualangyue said, Do you understand what I mean? Yes. Su Yun nodded. I just want to give her a job? Yes, because she likes to be an artist. Zhualangyue said, so I hope you can fulfill her dream. In addition, I want to emphasize that you should do all this because you also need to return a favor. Although you don't know some things, I also hope you can take good care of her. Su Yun promised, Little mom, don't worry. Whether it's because I owe her a favor or because you arranged it for me, I will take good care of her. That's good. You promised. Zhualangyue said, in addition, I also hope you can ensure her safety as much as possible. There may be some small troubles around her, but I believe you can handle them. Su Yun was completely confused by Zhualangyue. Did she want him to sign an artist or be a bodyguard? Zhualangyue soon gave Su Yun an answer. You just need to let her know that you signed her as an artist of Sky Entertainment. You don't need to let her know that she needs protection. I understand. Su Yun thought about it for a long time but still couldn't figure it out. Since Zhualangyue arranged it like this, she naturally had her reasons. Therefore, Su Yun didn't need to think too much. He just needed to meet her at the hotel Zhualangyue told him. Su Yun had to give her face. Whether it was because Zhualangyue had helped him or because his father owed her a debt of love, she was one of the people that Su Yun couldn't refuse. Su Yun didn't tell anyone about this. He came alone. He had to see who Zhualangyue wanted him to sign. If she was completely unsuitable for the entertainment circle, what should he do? Su Yun didn't think about this at all. Chapter 24-27. Usually, people who wanted to invite Su Yun to enter the entertainment industry would line up. Su Yun wouldn't do it, nor would he meet them. But today, when Su Yun arrived on time, he found that the other party wasn't there. This was really strange. Su Yun sat at the last seat on the left side of the hotel coffee shop as agreed. After ordering his coffee, he began to play with his phone in boredom. About 5 minutes later, a girl walked in front of him. Su Yun looked up at the girl. To be honest, a simple description would be that she had hair value, good looks, and an unforgettable figure. Especially her eyes, which were very lively and gave people a very comfortable feeling. Based on her work experience at Sky Entertainment, Su Yun deduced that this type of girl was the easiest type of person to package. Because this was the image that boys liked the most. Now, the popular young starlets in China were all like this type. The process of microplastic surgery was also close to this. So Su Yun couldn't tell whether this was natural or man-made. There was no way to be sure. In this society that paid attention to appearance, plastic surgery was a normal thing. Not to mention the entertainment industry, even ordinary girls who looked for a job after graduating from university would do a little plastic surgery to improve their appearance. This was a development trend. With the rise of beauty agencies, more and more mature technology, and less risk, more and more people were willing to gamble for the rest of their lives. Not to mention girls, even boys' faces became normal. There were many people who pinched their noses and tweaked their chins. The girl stared at Su Yun like this. The two of them looked at each other for about 20 seconds. The girl suddenly said, "Sorry, I reserved this seat. Can you please sit somewhere else?" Su Yun was stunned. What the hell was going on in this guy's head? What kind of bullshit theory was this? He actually didn't think that he was one step ahead, but instead mistakenly thought that someone else was sitting in the seat that he had agreed on. This was the busiest time in the afternoon. Generally, no one would sit leisurely in a 5-star hotel coffee shop and drink coffee at this time. Therefore, with so many empty tables, very few people would notice this table in the last row. Because she was late, Su Yun decided to give her a lesson. "Excuse me, please take a seat." After Su Yun finished speaking, he got up and was about to change seats. She politely thanked him and sat down. Then, she asked the waiter to bring her a glass of lemon water. After getting up, Su Yun didn't sit too far away. Instead, he sat down on the seat next to him. In this way, the newcomer that Zhuo Langyue introduced to Su Yun waited bitterly for half an hour. After drinking 2 cups of water and going to the washroom, she finally couldn't sit still anymore. She looked at her watch several times and couldn't help complaining that Manager Su's sense of time was too poor. "Are you waiting for someone?" Su Yun felt that it was about time, so he smiled and asked, "What? You too?" The girl stared blankly at Su Yun. Su Yun nodded. "I'm here for an appointment." The girl suddenly panicked. She looked up and down at Su Yun nervously. Su Yun was wearing an ordinary brand suit. It was neither Armani nor Gianfranco. It was just an ordinary Jaeger. He couldn't be a big boss, especially a big boss in the entertainment industry. He must be at the top of the fashion world. He must be very particular about his clothes. Take the people she knew as an example. Those who had a little bit of success and fame would at least wear an Armani suit. Some people even said that a city man should at least have an Armani suit in his life. Although this was a little flattering and exaggerated, it had to prove the position of Armani in the Western industry. As the big boss of Chanyu Group, would he choose other small brands? Even if he didn't like the comfort and elegance of Armani, he couldn't avoid choosing other international luxury brands. "Oh," she faintly said. After determining that Su Yun wasn't the person she was waiting for, she quickly turned her head. "Is this the first time you've met the person you're waiting for?" "Su Yun, I'm waiting for the person I'm waiting for. I'm afraid I won't be able to recognize you." The girl, who had just suppressed her uneasiness, rose again. Her eyes widened to the point that they could not be any wider. You are... My surname is Su." Su Yun smiled. The girl swallowed a mouthful of saliva. "You're not Mr. Su of Chanyu Group, are you?" "Oh. So you're the Zhang Zishue I've been waiting for?" When Su Yun said this name, the girl beside him didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Su Yun smiled and sat back down. Zhang Zishue looked at Su Yun blankly. "You really are Mr. Su? Then why didn't you say so?" I'm so embarrassed. I came on time," Su Yun faintly said. Zhang Zishue playfully stuck out her tongue. "Actually, I wanted to come earlier. But I thought about how successful people like you usually have a lot of things to do. Maybe you won't be on time, so I wasn't in a hurry. Plus, I was only a few minutes late." Su Yun, the more successful a person is, the more they have a sense of time. If you don't even have a basic sense of time, then you won't be respected. "Sorry, Mr. Su, I understand," Zhang Zishue said. When Su Yun talked about her, she was actually quite unhappy. At that time, He could have asked her if she was the one who asked him to come, but he purposely sat next to her. It's nothing. Su Yun. Then we're officially acquainted. Jiang Zixue nodded. Yes. I'd like to express my gratitude to Mr. Su. The first time we meet, you're willing to spend half an hour to teach me a lesson. From what you're saying, it doesn't sound like you're that happy. Su Yun smiled. Okay, no matter what, we're acquainted. Jiang Zixue didn't say anything, which meant that she didn't deny it. You want to be an artist? Su Yun, why do you want to be an artist? This industry isn't as easy as everyone thinks, because only the bright and beautiful side will be shown. The hard work behind the scenes won't be seen by others. Su Yun noticed that Jiang Zixue paid a lot of attention to her clothes and grooming. The smell of the pheromone perfume on her body was also very special. It was definitely expensive. Therefore, he could basically tell that she was a princess who didn't have to worry about food and clothing. Even if she didn't walk this path, she had already obtained what many people worked hard for. A third-tier actor who worked hard to get to a third-tier actor's salary was only a few tens of thousands. Those who could get 100,000 or so would at least get to a second-tier actor's salary. A first-tier actor's salary was only a few 100,000. This was just the television industry. Even if you did well in the television industry, you might not be able to enter the film industry. In the film industry, even Brother Bo, who was at the best actor level, didn't get a salary of 20 million. His TV series episode was at least 700,000 to 800,000. Perhaps only the person who climbed up step by step would know the bitterness of this. Therefore, Su Yun didn't think highly of Jiang Zixue. This was because young people like her were not so easy to nurture. Some time ago, there was someone who boasted too much. A kid who was involved in some group in South Korea and got his contract terminated. After some hype, he returned to Huaxia and was ready to do something big. After gaining some fans, he didn't know what his surname was. When he attended an event, he was even angry because people said that his makeup looked like Brother Bo. He felt that he was humiliated. After seeing this news, Su Yun wanted to scold him. What was this kind of person? Other than a little fame created by hype, other than having a fancy hairstyle every day, what else did he have? He didn't have any works, and he didn't have any influence. Basically, no one would recognize him when he walked on the street. He only had a few brainless fans, and he didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. How dare he look down on a best actor who was worth 5 billion? This kind of ignorant people made Su Yun pay special attention to these young celebrities. Just by fanning them a little, they felt that they were going to become famous. He really didn't know what they were thinking. Looking at the zombie fans on his Weibo, he felt that he was amazing. Sky Entertainment definitely wouldn't nurture any of these young people. Su Yun would only nurture young people who were down to earth. This was because they wouldn't be arrogant. Chapter 24-28. Facing Su Yun's question, Jiang Zixue thought for a long time. She didn't know how to answer it. Think about it rationally. Why do you want to do this? Su Yun, do you just want to be famous? Being famous will bring you a lot of unexpected pressure. I don't know. Jiang Zixue said, I just want to be in this industry. I don't have any reason or purpose. I just like it. Su Yun smiled. He didn't know if Jiang Zixue's answer was what she really thought. You know why I came to see you today? Because you have to give Auntie Zua face. Jiang Zixue said, I know it's all arranged by Auntie Zua. Yes. Su Yun, since we both know it, then it's easy to deal with. I'll arrange for you to be a contracted artist of Sky Entertainment Group. In my opinion, you have no foundation, so I'll arrange for you to study in this field as soon as possible. Jiang Zixue was stunned. No way. I still need to study? But I don't want to go back to school. But it's impossible for someone without any foundation to make a movie. Su Yun said. I don't have to make a movie. I'm not in a hurry. Jiang Zixue said, Aunties were told me to experience more things by your side first. Everything has to be done slowly. I'm not in a hurry. Su-yun was startled. He was now even more confused about what Zhuo Langyue wanted to do, because she had also told him not to make her famous. Moreover, Su-yun remembered one thing very clearly. She said that if Jiang Zixue stayed by his side, it might bring him some trouble. In this way, Su-yun understood something. Maybe Zhuo Langyue didn't really want Su-yun to cultivate Jiang Zixue into an A-list star. She just wanted Jiang Zixue to stay by his side so that he could take care of her easily. It seems that you haven't thought about what you want to do, Su-yun. Then you can work in Sky Entertainment Group for a while. It's not too late to make a decision after you've thought it through. Or rather, you can also run around with the masses and play small roles to get the feeling of being an actor. Jiang Zixue said, right now, I feel like I'm using my connections to get a job. Su-yun thought to himself, otherwise? That's how it was. She had indeed found a job through her connections. Then I'll follow your arrangements. Jiang Zixue said, anyway, I'm alone now. I don't need to consider so many things and problems. You're alone. Su-yun was slightly startled. You're the only one at home? Jiang Zixue looked at Su-yun with vigilance. That's right. What's wrong? Is there a problem? Su-yun shook his head. No problem. Where do you live? My family owns a house on Qingdao. Jiang Zixue said, I've been living in my own house since I came to Guqin Island. What do you want to do? Su-yun couldn't help but laugh when he saw Jiang Zixue's nervous face. You were introduced by Auntie Zhuo. You should believe that Auntie Zhuo won't send you to a wolf's mouth. Jiang Zixue swallowed a mouthful of saliva. But I heard that the entertainment industry is very messy. Many people rely on the unspoken rules to get to where they are. You're not going to sleep with me, are you? Pfft. Su-yun almost choked on the coffee he just drank. You're quite imaginative. Do I look like a person with no taste? Jiang Zixue was just about to shake her head when she felt something was wrong. What do you mean by taste? Are you saying that you don't like people like me? No, I'm saying that I won't do such a shameless thing. Su-yun, if I want to sleep with you, I have too many choices. There's no need for me to mess with you. I know very well who introduced you. If I do anything to you, wouldn't I be slapping myself in the face? Jiang Zixue was relieved when she heard this. Thinking about it, it made sense. With Auntie Zhuo's support, no one would dare to mess with her. You live alone. What about your parents? Su-yun quickly changed the topic. Speaking of this, Jiang Zixue's face didn't look too good. Lost contact. Ever since they went to Russia, I haven't heard from them. It's like no one wants me anymore. They have disappeared from the face of the earth. When Su-yun heard this, he was dumbfounded. What did this mean? Disappeared from the world? Auntie Zhuo said that she would help me find them. Jiang Zixue said, I have no other choice but to believe her. Su-yun looked at Jiang Zixue curiously. Who is your father? Why are you asking about this? Jiang Zixue said vigilantly, before I came here, Auntie Zhuo told me that no matter what you ask me, I can answer if I want to. If I don't want to, I don't need to answer. Su-yun was stunned. He really didn't understand what Zhuo Langyue meant. Why did she make such an arrangement? Okay. Would you like to go to my house with me? Jiang Zixue suddenly invited him. Su-yun was stunned. You have a house in Qingdao. Why do you want to meet me in a hotel? Because I live here. Jiang Zixue said, it's almost time, so I'll meet you in the guest room. You really have no place to spend your money, Su-yun said. You have a house, but you still come out to live in a hotel. I've never seen such a luxurious person like you. Jiang Zixue didn't avoid it. It's the first time I've met you. I don't know what kind of person you are. What if I bring you to my house and invite a wolf into my house? I have to at least know you first. Otherwise, how can I be at ease? You are really smart. Su-yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She didn't dare to do it before. Did she dare to do it now? They had just known each other for a short time. My feelings are very accurate. If I felt that you were a dangerous person, I wouldn't have talked so much with you. Jiang Zishue said, at least now I don't think you are that kind of dangerous person. Am I right, Mr. Su? Su Yun smiled. You'd better not call me Mr. Su. When there are no outsiders, just call me Su Yun. I'm not used to being called Mr. Su all the time. Then can I really call you Su Yun? You won't ban me, will you? Jiang Zishue said. Su Yun gave her a supercilious look. How famous do you think you are now? Do you need me to ban you? Jiang Zishue stuck out her tongue. Then what kind of person will you ban? Of course, it's the kind of person who doesn't have much fame to begin with. Just because they have a small group of brainless fans, they start to act like a big shot. Su Yun, the kind who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. They don't have any real talent and don't have any works to show. There is also the kind who touches the forbidden zone. Touches the forbidden zone? Jiang Zishue looked at Su Yun, puzzled. Those who touch drugs. Su Yun explained, and those who always like to use the name of dating to ask for one-night stands. They say one thing and do another. They are extremely upright in front of others, but do those unsightly things behind their backs. I will definitely ban this kind of person. Are there many such people in the entertainment industry? Jiang Zishue now had a strong interest in the entertainment industry. Su Yun nodded. There are many, and there are a lot of them. Now, too many people can't resist the temptation of society. Then I will definitely not touch the forbidden zone, Jiang Zishue said. I believe you won't. Su Yun smiled. Originally, Jiang Zishue was the kind of person who didn't have to worry about food and clothing. She had seen all kinds of scenes and touched all kinds of things. She didn't lack money, and she wasn't the kind who suddenly became so rich that she didn't know her surname. Therefore, even if Jiang Zishue became famous, tens of millions of yuan was probably nothing in her eyes. She lived in Yanjing for a long time, but she came to Qingdao and had a house. Although the average price of the houses in Qingdao couldn't be compared to Yanjing, it could be compared to San Juan if it was a good place. Of course, it couldn't be compared to Dongqing District and Xiqing District, which cost more than 100,000 yuan per square meter, but it could be compared to Fengtai District's 30,000 yuan. Therefore, Jiang Zishue wasn't the kind of person who lacked money. She wouldn't be lost in the temptation because of the increase in wealth. The possibility of her touching the forbidden zone was very small. Of course, there were exceptions. There were also such people who grew up in a honeypot. The second generation of a certain superstar would also touch that kind of thing and then be ruthlessly cheated. Chapter 24-29. Do you want to be a guest at my house? Jiang Zishue suddenly asked. She had been wary of Su Yun before, but now she had let down most of her guard against Su Yun, or rather, she had more trust in him. Su Yun was such a person. He always brought a sense of security to people unconsciously. It was very reasonable for Jiang Zishue to trust Su Yun. Tell me the truth. Have you never gone home by yourself? Su Yun looked at Jiang Zishue's eyes and asked. Jiang Zishue was a little embarrassed. Su Yun saw a trace of expectation in her eyes just now. She was looking forward to him being a guest at her house. Jiang Zishue had said that she was worried that Su Yun would not be safe at home, so she chose to stay in a hotel, and she also stayed in a hotel. Obviously, it showed that she was not really worried about Su Yun's safety at her house, but that she did not go home at all. Sometimes it was like this. It was very lonely and scary to live alone, and it would make people feel anxious. Especially when Jiang Zishue just mentioned that her family was missing, it was definitely a very bad feeling for a girl. She would have an inexplicable sense of fear, so she was not willing to live at home alone. The reason why she would rather choose a hotel than go home was that there were more people in the hotel, and it gave her a sense of security. Su Yun's words revealed Jiang Zishue's thoughts. She did not deny it again. It did not matter if she admitted it openly at this time. After I came to Qingdao, I just found a housekeeping company to clean my house. I didn't go there myself. Soo-yoon guessed it right. What are you afraid of? Or what are you worried about? Of course I'm afraid. I'll definitely be afraid if I'm alone. Jiang Zishue said, after the housekeeping company arrives at my house, I can use a mobile phone remote program to help them unlock the door. I can also see the surveillance cameras at home through my mobile phone. After they leave, I can lock the door remotely. A smart home system. Soo-yoon knew that this system was not cheap. It could use smartphones and computers to control everything in the house. This was definitely not just a tool that could remotely open the door. It could also remotely turn on the air conditioner and even remotely control the bathtub to be filled with hot water of 40 degrees Celsius. When the owner returned home, he could enjoy a hot bath that could stimulate blood circulation. Jiang Zishue nodded. Because they rarely came to Qingdao, they installed this system at home. Even when they were not on Qingdao, they could contact the housekeeping company and ask someone to clean their house. Nowadays, many rich people who had nothing to do would have this system installed in their houses. Moreover, they could turn on the surveillance system from time to time to check the situation at home and see if there was a thief or something. As long as they had a phone, they could check it whenever they wanted. Of course, these were all prepared for the houses of the rich. Moreover, they were the kind of houses that people would not stay in often and would only stay for a few days occasionally. After all, there was no need for such things in a place where they lived every day. You will be a little scared if you go back alone. That's why you invited me over. You are really direct. Soo-yoon. Forget it. Let's go. I have no choice. After all, there are blind spots in the surveillance system. No one has lived here for a long time. Jiang Zishue said, I am a girl. Of course, it is better for me to be careful. You are very smart. Soo-yoon. There is nothing wrong with being a little more careful. I am very supportive of your approach. Jiang Zishue also admired her own wit. There was definitely nothing wrong with being a little more careful. Under Jiang Zishue's lead, Soo-yoon drove all the way to a high-end residential area in Binhai Park. There were many row villas and individual villas here. 20% of the rich people in Qingdao lived in this place. Although all the houses here had been sold and renovated, the occupancy rate was less than 30% on an average day. In other words, among the 10 villas here, only 3 of them were lit up every day. The other owners did not live here. They lived in other places or in other cities. This was a very normal thing. To be able to spend tens of millions to buy a house in such an expensive place like Qingdao, in places like Yanjing or Shenzhen, they must be living in a big house worth hundreds of millions. Jiang Zishue did not dare to come by herself. This was indeed something she should have considered. Now, there were many thieves in special industries. These thieves were very skilled. They could even have the strength of a third-rate master. They could not make a name for themselves in the underground world where masters were as common as clouds. Therefore, they would have other evil thoughts. With their skills, it was not difficult for them to jump high and long jump. Therefore, it was not difficult to enter a rich family to clean up. These people also particularly liked to mess with the rich and powerful. Because these people had too much money, they did not dare to say anything even if they were messed with. They would rather swallow their anger. In any city, no matter big or small, whether it was a first-tier city or a fourth-tier county, there would be a leader's house that had been robbed. They did not dare to say anything or call the police. They could only suffer in silence. And these people who were robbed were often the culprits of this kind of thief. They were called thieves because they could no longer be described as thieves. They were much more powerful than thieves. They would carefully investigate the rich area. They would rather spend a year to find out the rules and frequency of these people coming to the house. They would only take action when the time was right. They would rob everything when they started. Because these people had extraordinary skills, they disdained to be street thieves every day. They preferred to do this kind of business where they could earn a living for a year. In their circle, there was even a rumor that someone had found a priceless luminous goblet in a leader's house and sold it for a few million in Pan Garden's underground market. After that, The person didn't come out to do anything for 3 years and went to travel around the world. There was also a rumor that someone stole an expensive calligraphy and painting handed down from history from a rich businessman's house. This was prepared by the rich businessman to give to a leader who loved calligraphy and painting. Because it was stolen, he had to buy it back at a high price. He directly asked for tens of millions. The rich businessman gritted his teeth and bought it back. Therefore, the houses that rich people did not often live in were likely to be targeted. Once targeted, it meant that the targeted person was not simple and wanted to do something big. Perhaps some rich people also felt that they had never been so unlucky. No one had ever patronized their house. They also had luxurious European-style decorations, branded furniture, and drove cars like Mercedes-Benz or BMW. However, this only meant that they were not really rich. For a really rich family, a small inkstone might be sold for the price of a custom-made Ferrari. A calligraphy and painting that did not look special could be sold for the price of a courtyard house in Yanjing's Second Ring Road. These things couldn't be brought out and mentioned in the same breath, and there was nothing to compare them with. Jiang Zixue might not be guarding against this kind of thief, but Su Yun believed that she must be worried about someone more powerful than those thieves. Otherwise, Zualangyue would not need to call him to take care of her. When Su Yun drove the car to the gate of the courtyard, Jiang Zixue remotely opened the door of the garage in advance. Su Yun made a U-turn and directly drove the car into the garage. With Su Yun by her side, Jiang Zixue's mood were much better. She did not need to worry too much. After opening the door, she invited Su Yun to drink tea at home. Although people did not often live here, a housekeeping company that had signed a contract would come to clean every week. Therefore, it was very clean. "Your place is quite good," Su Yun said. "It's not cheap." "It was very cheap when I bought it," Jiang Zixue said. In 2005, the price of the house was not so exaggerated. Now, the price of this place has increased by at least 5 times. Su Yun said, "Your family is not short of money. I think you'd better not enter the entertainment circle. It's meaningless." Jiang Zixue invited Su Yun to sit down and said very seriously, "I'm not doing it for money. It's because of a childhood dream. When I was a child, I was very envious of the people in the movies and TV shows. Do you know, my idol is Audrey Hepburn? Then you really need to work hard." Su Yun looked around with a smile. Chapter 24:30. Su Yun suddenly stood up. He did not ask for Jiang Zixue's permission and directly stood up to tour the room. Although Jiang Zixue felt that Su Yun's actions were a little rude, she was too embarrassed to say anything. Su Yun was not interested in visiting the rooms of rich people. He only felt that something was wrong and smelled a trace of unease. The decoration of Jiang Zixue's house was actually similar to the style of Su Yun's house. They were all made with a high cost, so naturally, everything looked grand. Jiang Zixue thought that Su Yun was interested in the furnishings of her house, so she followed behind him and started to talk to him. All the furnishings in the house were guided by a profound technique master. Jiang Zixue said, "Home feng shui is a profound technique with a long history in Huaxia. It is said that some people call it qing niao or qing shu. A more academic term is called feng shui. You're not old, but you know quite a lot." Su Yun was a little surprised. He did not expect Jiang Zixue to be able to explain what profound technique was. Jiang Zixue heard Su Yun's praise and was quite proud. "When I was very young, I only liked to study architecture. I also studied architecture in school, so I definitely have some research in this area." Qi, scattered by the wind, stopped by the boundary water. The ancient people did not disperse when they gathered, so they stopped when they moved, so they called it feng shui. Su Yun smiled. "This is the earliest position of feng shui." Jiang Zixue instantly became Su Yun's fan. Wasn't Su Yun a little too knowledgeable? As someone in the entertainment industry, she even knew about feng shui? Little did he know that Wang Yi's research on feng shui was very thorough. Su Yun had grown up with him since he was young, so how could he not know a little about feng shui? Moreover, Wang Yi was not the kind of Zhonghu swindler who pretended to be a master after memorizing a few words of the Book of Changes. Those so-called masters on the internet who claimed that they could kill people with sword qi with just a flick of their fingers were all bragging. Those who could use sword qi to stab people to death shouldn't be called masters. They should be called Duan Lang. Other than the six-pulse divine sword, what else could stab people to death? Grandpa Jean must have read too many wuxia novels to be able to blow up a cow. If he had read too many modern web novels, he was afraid that these masters would be able to boast that they could shatter the earth with a single punch. If he exaggerated, he could even say that the volcano eruption on the other side of the earth was because he accidentally farted. The fart passed through the earth's crust and directly reached the opposite side, causing the volcano to erupt. In the art of feng shui, obtaining water is the best, and concealing wind is second. Su Yun, your family is very particular about feng shui, so the feng shui master you hired must have some real skills. Zhang Zishue said proudly, of course. I definitely won't believe the words of those charlatans. Most of the swindlers only know the feng shui formula and come out to scam people. In fact, they don't know the true meaning of it. Su Yun, if you don't want to be scammed, you should at least know the formula. People who talk about the formula are often not real people. Zhang Zishue pursed her lips. I was just about to recite it for you. After hearing what you said, I feel that there's nothing to be proud of. I didn't mean that. A real feng shui master definitely knows the formula, but he won't always brag about it. Su Yun, take you for example. You do know a little about feng shui, but you're hundreds of times away from being a grandmaster. Zhang Zishue nodded. I admit that. I also know a little about feng shui. I memorized it when I was young, but now I've forgotten it. Isn't it just water in the east of the house, purple qi from the east? Dragon in the north of the house, endless future. Sand beside the house, wealth is at home. Trees in the northwest, wealth is there. Shade in the south of the house, difficult to unfold the universe. Su Yun scratched his head. There wasn't much he could remember. You said the formula like a limerick. It's not supposed to be memorized like that. Zhang Zishue said, behind the purple qi from the east is, the door is low, the house of wealth and luck. The house is small, the door is big, the money is lost. Su Yun smiled. I'm just saying what I still remember. Do you want to take a look upstairs? Zhang Zishue asked. Su Yun nodded. There was no need for a tour. He just wanted to take a look at the reason why he felt a faint sense of unease. There was definitely a problem here, but Su Yun couldn't tell the reason. After going upstairs, every room was very clean. Zhang Zishue was quite satisfied with the housekeeping service. Are you usually very busy? Do you have a helper at home? If you didn't hire a housekeeper, you can ask someone from this company to do the cleaning for you. Zhang Zishue said, my house is about 400 square meters. I charge 1,200 renminbi for each cleaning. The house is very clean once a week. I'm not that extravagant. Su Yun, cleaning the house cost 5,000 renminbi a month. He really didn't understand what these rich people were thinking. Su Yun was also a rich person. He really couldn't think of any reason to spend so much money. You're the boss of the Sky Entertainment Group, how can you even? Zhang Zishue pursed her lips. That shouldn't be the case. She herself had to spend tens of thousands of yuan on living expenses every month, and that didn't include shopping for clothes and bags. It only costs 500 yuan to sponsor a poor child who can't go to school, Su Yun suddenly said. Zhang Zishue was stunned. She didn't know about these things. 500 renminbi was just a meal to her. It was just a beautiful comb or a beautiful phone case. What could 500 renminbi do in today's society? Zhang Zishue lived in Beijing. Her family was rich, and her parents loved her dearly. Since she was young, they had always given her the best things. A pair of sports shoes cost more than 1,000 yuan, and a pair of high heels cost more than 10,000 yuan. A piano was custom-made for hundreds of thousands of yuan. After she got her driver's license, she bought an Aston Martin, which was worth a few million yuan, as a car for her internship. Therefore, for a child like Jiang Zixue who grew up in a family like hers, if she only had 500 renminbi, she wouldn't dare to go out. That was because this amount of money wasn't even enough to have a decent afternoon tea. For those families with good family conditions, like the families of leaders and middle-class families, 500 renminbi might be the standard of living expenses for a day. How many people in Huaxia could live up to 500 renminbi a day? Probably not even 10% of them. And for ordinary working families, what did 500 renminbi mean? It meant a week's worth of living expenses for a family of 3. It meant daily necessities, rice, oil, salt, soy sauce, vinegar, and tea. It meant that when they went home to visit their parents, they could buy some decent nutritional products. For those drifters from Beijing, South, Hong Kong, and so on, 500 renminbi meant a month's rent for a house in a bad location with a bad living environment. It allowed them to have a stable place to live, and they didn't have to worry about sleeping under a bridge or in the warm and soft harbor of a train station. And for those children who came from poor families, parents who died early, ancestors who were terminally ill, and orphans who couldn't go to school, 500 renminbi was enough for them to go to school in their small village for a year. A whole year. One afternoon tea, 1 day's worth of living expenses, 1 week's worth of daily necessities, 1 month's worth of rent, 1 year's worth of tuition and accommodation. Different social classes had different positions. Sponsoring an out-of-school child only cost 500 renminbi a year. Huaxia had a population of 1.3 billion. If each person saved 1 renminbi a year, how many out-of-school children could they sponsor with this amount of money? 2,600,000. Therefore, Su Yun felt that 500 renminbi was very important, not to mention 5,000 renminbi. Even Ma San'er, who owned a small shop in Panjiayuan, insisted on sponsoring so many students every year. Su Yun was the big boss of Sky Entertainment Group. If he didn't give back to society, was he worthy of being a human? Sky Entertainment Group sponsored tens of thousands of students every year. Of course, they didn't just sponsor 500 renminbi for primary school children. They also sponsored college students. As long as they were talented, they would lend a helping hand. The artists under Sky Entertainment also agreed with this point. They would all do different kinds of charity work according to their financial situation. Therefore, Su Yun actually looked down on those anti-celebrities. He despised those celebrities for not donating enough. Even if they didn't donate much, the amount they donated in one go was probably more than some people could afford in their entire lives, right? Some people earned 2,000 renminbi a month. When they donated 50 renminbi, they felt proud of themselves. But when they pointed to someone who earned 2 million renminbi a month and said that he only donated 500,000 renminbi after earning so much, think about the ratio. Su Yun's words made Jiang Zixue unable to open her mouth for a long time. She just stood there like a fool, not knowing what to say. Chapter 24:31. Su Yun smiled. In fact, many times, different values and different living environments will create different people. In your opinion, 5,000 yuan is nothing. This is normal. I suddenly feel that I am very small. Jiang Zixue said, I feel like I don't know anything. I have never really come into contact with society. Why is it like this? Because you have never come into contact with real society. You only come into contact with a society in your circle, a rich world. Su Yun said. Jiang Zixue said, then what is this society like? Have you heard of a joke? Su Yun smiled and said, I asked for leave from the foreman tomorrow. I can finally go to KFC. What do I need to pay attention to? Is it expensive? I heard that it is a high-end product. How can I pretend to eat it often? Can I cross my legs? Can I smoke? Is there a toilet inside? What if I am too nervous and want to go to the toilet? How much will it cost for 2 people? Do you want to go up? Can I take it away if I can't finish it? What dishes can I order to show my status? Is the menu in English? Is there Chinese? Without waiting for Su Yun to finish, Jiang Zishue couldn't help but laugh. Many people thought that this was a joke, mocking those who ate KFC as if they were going to eat high-end Western food. In fact, this couldn't be considered a joke at all. Why did many people not think that KFC was a high-end place? What if it was 20 years ago? It was believed that the children who were taken to KFC by their parents 20 years ago were the children of the rich. Because 20 years ago, in the whole of Huaxia, only the big cities had KFC. The children in the small cities had never even heard of it. Now that society was developed, any small fourth-tier city had KFC. In the big cities, there were even 2 KFC on a street. There were more than Lanzhou ramen and Shaoxian snacks. When everyone could afford to eat at KFC, those who had eaten there a long time ago would look down on those who had just entered KFC and treated KFC as a high-cost place. That was why they made up such a joke. They didn't know that some people entered KFC with this kind of mentality. Because they were poor, they didn't have money, they just couldn't bear to. There was nothing to be ashamed of. The children who went to school in the poor mountain village only had 5 yuan a week for living expenses. Therefore, a meal of KFC was a sky-high price in their eyes. Those who laughed at eating KFC always took it as a kind of pride that they liked to eat buffet at Shangri-La, but they didn't know that those who often went to Dubai's Burj Al Saad would also treat them as country bumpkins. What era was it now? Why would they still go to Shangri-La to eat buffet? Tasteless. Actually, this is a matter of values, Su Yun smiled. Once you've lived in this society for a while, you'll understand. To tell you the truth, you really should be an extra. You'll understand how hard it is. Jiang Zishue nodded. She completely agreed with Su Yun. Su Yun walked to Jiang Zishue's room and looked around. Jiang Zishue was just about to speak when Su Yun gestured for her to be quiet. Jiang Zishue was startled. She didn't know what Su Yun wanted to do. Su Yun looked at the 2 lamps on the bedside table and walked forward gently. He put his hand under one of the lamps and gently pulled out a black thing from the lamp. This thing looked like a USB flash drive. Jiang Zishue looked at Su Yun in surprise. Su Yun picked up a pillow and directly stuffed the black USB flash drive-shaped thing into it. "It seems that your house isn't very safe," Su Yun said with a smile. Jiang Zishue looked at Su Yun with a blank face. "What is that thing?" "It's a wireless monitoring device," Su Yun said. "Perhaps someone has already heard what we said earlier." "How? How is that possible?" Jiang Zishue looked at Su Yun in surprise. "It's impossible for anyone to come in." "What about the housekeeping company?" "Su Yun, maybe the housekeeping company wouldn't do such a thing. But if someone wants to come in, they can first work in the housekeeping company and then find an opportunity. That's much easier." Jiang Zishue looked at Su Yun in horror. "Then, can we still be heard?" Although this kind of device has a strong audio monitoring ability, the filler in the pillow can basically be filtered out. "Su Yun, no one should be able to hear us now. It seems that you made a very wise choice not to go home." Jiang Zishue was really panicking now. "Can you tell me what kind of trouble your family is in?" "Su Yun, that way, I can be prepared." Jiang Zishue shook her head. She really didn't know anything. It seemed like her life had suddenly become unsafe. "Phew." Su Yun sighed. "It's really complicated. Aunties was said that not only can I fulfill my dream by coming here to find you, but it will also be safer." Jiang Zishue said, "But I don't understand why I'm not safe." Su Yun looked Jiang Zishue up and down. Whether she really didn't know or didn't want to say, Su Yun wouldn't force her to say something she didn't want to say. "No matter what, I'm afraid it's not safe here. It's best if you don't live here alone." Jiang Zishue, "Then I can only stay in a hotel." "I'm afraid a hotel isn't a safe place either, Su Yun, but if you insist on staying, I won't force you." "Then where is the safest place?" Jiang Zishue said, "I don't want to live here alone. If there's any danger, I won't have anywhere to run. There aren't many people living here." Su Yun shrugged. As for the danger, Jiang Zishue didn't want to say it, so he couldn't help her. Then what should I do? I'll go to your house with you. Jiang Zishue suddenly stopped. No, if you really want to have any thoughts about the unspoken rules, then wouldn't I be sending myself to the wolf's mouth? Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He shook his head. You're thinking too much. Jiang Zishue was helpless. How can I find out who put this thing? Only someone who has been watching you or your family for a long time would do this. Su Yun, if you want to find out, you can only go to the housekeeping company that serves your family. Don't worry about that for now. I'll find a way to help you. It's not convenient for you to show up. Then what can I do now? Jiang Zishue asked. Su Yun didn't want to take her to his house. It wasn't because there wasn't enough space, but because he didn't know what trouble Jiang Zishue was in for the time being. If he brought the trouble back to his house, everyone would be implicated. How about this? Since you've decided to try being an extra, I'll get someone to arrange it for you. Su Yun, there's a place where almost all the extras rent a house. I'll get someone to find you a house with better conditions there. You can live there. There are more people there, so at least you'll be safe for the time being. Jiang Zishue thought about it. That was the only way. Anyway, she didn't want to live in a room that was bugged. You don't have to worry about the rest. Just do what you need to do. Su Yun, just treat it as experiencing life. The conditions there are definitely tougher than here, so you have to be prepared. I'm sure I can do it. Jiang Zishue said, since I'm here, there's no reason for me to back down. Of course, I have to experience the life of an extra. Okay then. Come with me. I'll take you to the people who will arrange for you to work as an extra. Su Yun, get the actor certificate today. I'll arrange for you tomorrow if there's anything you need. Jiang Zishue wanted to ask what the extra could do, but she swallowed her words. Forget it, I won't ask. Anyway, I'll find out tomorrow. Su Yun called Shirley. He was now in charge of this area in the film and television city, so Su Yun handed Jiang Zishue over to him. Meanwhile, he needed to investigate the housekeeping company. Was there a problem with the entire company, or was there a problem with someone in the company? Su Yun needed Chen Wei to help him investigate. Chapter 2432. Based on Chen Wei's detailed understanding, this housekeeping company was considered a long-established one in Qingdao. Before the founding of the People's Republic of China, this company's owner's ancestor used to be a teacher. Later, after the founding of the People's Republic of China, they turned into a moving company during the construction of large-scale buildings. Later, it developed into a comprehensive housekeeping service. They did everything from moving to cleaning. This housekeeping company was also very popular because of its excellent service. He had also targeted the high-end customers. This was the nature of this industry. Only high-end customers could earn money. Ordinary families would at most hire a housekeeper to clean their house once a year in order to make it clean during the new year. However, high-end customers were different. There were too many families like Jiang Zishue. They needed a company like this. On average, a customer would clean their house 2 or 3 times a month. According to the size of the house, the charge was more than 1,000 yuan. 3 skilled workers could do it in a day. Those who did the work were only paid 100 yuan a day. The basic salary was only 600 to 800 yuan. In other words, if they didn't work, they wouldn't be paid much. With so many customers now, the housekeeping company was quite busy. There were work arrangements almost every day, so there were many people who came to work. Those who were diligent would stay. The basic salary would be raised to 1,000 yuan, and they would be assigned more work. Those who were not diligent and liked to be lazy would be fired after 2 months. Anyway, they didn't lack people to make money. Qingdao was a city where income and consumption were not proportional to each other. It was believed that many people who had lived in Qingdao had a deep understanding of this. For young people working in ordinary companies, a monthly salary of more than 10,000 yuan in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou was an ordinary income. In Qingdao, they would probably stand out and show off that they were earning 7,000 to 8,000 yuan. If it was calculated according to the rent in the southern district of Qingdao was not much different from the third ring road of Beijing. There were expensive places and cheap places. It was said that the food in Beijing was expensive. A roast duck for 2 or 3 people would cost a few hundred yuan. Usually, when treating people, they couldn't go out without a few thousand yuan. The food in Qingdao was not cheap. A seafood barbecue at a roadside stall would cost 3 people a few hundred yuan. Therefore, the income in Qingdao was not high. For housekeeping companies, if one worked hard every month, the basic salary and bonus would be 4,000 to 5,000 yuan a month. For people who didn't have technical skills and could only work with their hands, this was really a high income. Therefore, there were a lot of people who wanted to do the work, but there were also a lot of people who couldn't bear the hardship. Thinking about how they had to sweep the floor, mop the floor, and scrub the toilet every day, if they didn't feel anything for a day or two, anyone would feel annoyed for a month or two. Therefore, the turnover of housekeeping companies was very high. The good thing was that each of them had a record of the housekeeping service they went to. The boss was also very careful about this. He was worried that if something happened, it would be easier for him to find the person. This was indeed a form of precaution. It was not as if nothing had happened before. Someone had accidentally broken a small, inconspicuous flower pot on the balcony of a rich family. Who would have thought that such a broken flower pot would be worth more than 30,000 yuan? Therefore, the boss of the housekeeping company had to find someone to take responsibility for these things. This allowed Chen Wei to find a breakthrough. He quickly found out that there was a young man named Li Teng who only worked for 4 days a month. If he worked for less than 22 days, his basic salary would be deducted. If he worked for less than 18 days, he would not get any basic salary. Therefore, those who did not have a high attendance rate would not work for long. However, this Li Teng had persevered for more than 3 months. In these 3 months, he only received 400 yuan a month. Moreover, every time he worked, he would go to Zhang Zishue's house to clean. Obviously, this was a very important clue for Su Yun. Chen Wei got a copy of Li Teng's identity card from the housekeeping boss. When he went back to check, he found that the identity card did not match at all. It was fake. This made this target even more suspicious. With these things, Chen Wei immediately arranged for people to secretly monitor him. Chief Chen, don't alert the enemy first. Su Yun, the situation is still very uncertain. When they do housekeeping the next time, we will find out. Su Yun believed that if the listening device was Li Teng's doing, he would definitely find out that there was something wrong with the listening device the next time he entered the Zhang family's house. Once he felt guilty, he would choose to escape immediately. At that time, he would be able to confirm it. Even if this guy did not admit it, there would be nothing to explain. Under the circumstances where he would not wrongly accuse someone, Su Yun did not care whether there was evidence or not. I understand what you mean, Chen Wei said. I will arrange for the SWAT team to secretly monitor him. Now that he has entered our range of control, all the signs point to him being very suspicious. Su Yun frowned. They had to be careful. This Li Teng does not have a home on Qingdao, nor does he have any relatives. He does not rent a house. He lives in the Jinxing hotel chain. Although it is not a high-end hotel, the standard room cost is about 200 yuan a day. Most people would not be willing to stay there for a long time, Chen Wei said. Has he lived there for a long time? Su Yun asked. Chen Wei nodded. Yes, he has been living in Jinxing Hotel since the day he started working in the housekeeping company. He has been living there for 3 months. Every 4 to 5 days, he would check out and reopen a new room on another floor. Su Yun was stunned. You helped me investigate all this? Of course. It is more convenient for me to investigate than for you. I only need the head of the local police station to call their manager and ask them to go to the station to talk about the problem. They will immediately go back and investigate. They will give me the records in half an hour, Chen Wei said. After a pause, he continued, it turns out that his problem is still very serious. A person who only earns 400 yuan a month is living in a hotel that costs 200 yuan a day. The hotel manager also reminded him that there is a discount for long-term rentals, but there is no discount for changing rooms every few days. However, he did not care and still insisted on changing rooms every few days. This clearly shows that there is something wrong with him. Soo-yoon nodded. Then there is basically no escape for him. I've also checked the hotel's CCTV. Basically, except for the 4 days when he's working as a housekeeper, he doesn't go out for a long time. He usually comes back within an hour when he goes out, and he only goes out during mealtime. Chen Wei said, this means that he doesn't have a second job. Unless he is a third-rate rich second-generation heir who has nothing better to do and is doing this to experience life. Otherwise, there is no other possibility. Soo-yoon, then I will have to trouble Chief Chen to arrange for someone to keep an eye on him. Chen Wei nodded. Who is this person? What has he done? What level of criminal is he? Soo-yoon shook his head. I don't know anything so far. The name Li Ting is obviously fake. The only thing I know is that he will definitely do something to the people in the villa. His target is definitely Jiang Zixue. Then do you still need me to arrange for someone to protect Jiang Zixue? Chen Wei asked. That is not necessary. That will only alert her and make her feel uneasy. Soo-yoon, I have already arranged for someone to go to the place where the extras gather. There are a lot of people there, so it is not easy to find someone there. Chen Wei, then wouldn't a place with a lot of people be more dangerous? Don't worry. Although there are a lot of people there, people without an actor's certificate can't rent a house there. Soo-yoon said, the person in charge of the extras is Brother Shirley. I've already informed him. In a while, I'll send him a copy of Li Teng's identity card. If this person really walks right into the trap, wouldn't that be even better? Chen Wei nodded. Yes, that is indeed a good arrangement. Thank you for your hard work, Chief Chen, Soo-yoon said. Don't be so courteous with me. Chen Wei smiled. Although I don't know who this person is, the person you are going to deal with is definitely not simple. This kind of dangerous person has entered Qingdao. I should be the one thanking you for reminding me in advance. Soo-yoon smiled bitterly. Maybe the other party was really not a simple person. Maybe it was an organization. No matter what, once he went against a force that was unfavorable to Jiang Zixue, it would definitely bring trouble to Qingdao and trouble to Chen Wei. I didn't say I was sorry. Soo-yoon smiled embarrassedly. In 4 days, the housekeeper will go to Jiang Zixue's house to clean up again. If there is nothing else, don't let the criminal police and special forces brothers work too hard. Chen Wei nodded. Okay, I will arrange it. Chapter 24:33. When Jiang Zixue and Shirley arrived at the area where the extras lived, she realized that the conditions here were much tougher than she had imagined. The salary of extras was very clear. Working for a day was a day's worth of money. Even if they were hired as special agents, they would only earn a little more than 100 yuan a day. In a situation where there was no guarantee that there would be scenes every day, a special agent could earn 2,000 to 3,000 yuan a month. That was already a pretty good income in this place. Ordinary extras would only earn 30 to 50 yuan a day. Including the red packets they received from pretending to be dead or wearing mourning clothes, it would be considered pretty good if they could earn a little more than 1,000 yuan a month. Therefore, their lives were really tough. Among the extras, the most popular martial arts profession had a higher salary. If they could work for 20 days a month, they would earn a total of 4,000 yuan. The special agents who worked at the top would not live here. Their income was high, and they were not much different from ordinary white-collar workers. Some even took loans to buy houses. Since they had already made it, why wouldn't they buy a house if they could earn 1,000 to 2,000 yuan a day? They were rich and willful. Therefore, the extras gathered here were all unknown extras. The conditions were too good, and their income was simply too high. Therefore, this tube-shaped apartment from the 70s and 80s became their best choice. The existence of this place seemed to have been prepared for all the extras who played the piano. Perhaps many people had already forgotten what the tube-shaped apartment looked like, but those who were born in that era would have a deep impression of it. The apartment was small, and every single room was about 10 square meters in size. It was a type of housing that was very characteristic of the Hua Xia era. It was the product of the tight housing allocation system of Hua Xia enterprises and institutions in the 70s and 80s. This type of apartment had long corridors, toilets, and washrooms that were all shared. It used to be the offices of various units or the dormitories of single employees. There were countless Hua Xia people who got married and had children in the apartment, and the symphony of pots and pans was played. That's right. Cooking was done in the same big kitchen. Every household had a stove, and every household had a faucet. Gas had to be filled. Therefore, in that era of poverty, there were many people who cursed and scolded others for stealing their faucets. Zhang Zixue was a 23-year-old girl. The year she was born, Beijing had already applied for the 2008 Olympic Games. Obviously, in the era that Zhang Zixue was born in, Hua Xia was not that poor anymore. Children from ordinary families could afford to eat golden monkey chocolates and white rabbit creamy candies. Packaged puffed food and jianlibo were also things that ordinary people could afford. Although there were tube-shaped apartments in Beijing, she had never lived in such a place. When she was old enough to remember, Hong Kong had already returned to China. In her memory, the first apartment she lived in was no longer a floor structure. And this kind of tube-shaped apartment was a very old structure. The single dogs Little Zhang and Little Wang who used to live here had now become Old Zhang and Old Wang. They had long bade farewell to the tube-shaped apartment with their family and lived in a new neighborhood. They had started to pay attention to the facilities in the new neighborhood. However, this abandoned apartment had become a paradise for the extras. They loved this place too much. The more expensive rooms were only 500 to 600 yuan, while the cheaper ones were only 300 yuan. Some young people who knew how to save money even squeezed a few people into a room. Other than the bed, there was nothing else in the room. Can people live in this place? Zhang Zixue was obviously not used to this kind of place. The corridor was a mess with everything. If she was not careful, she would step on other people's wash basins. At this time, most of the extras were not around. If they wanted to find work, they had to wake up at 5 a.m. and wait at the commune. Those who were still in the apartment at this time were lazy and not diligent. This was because even if the diligent people did not get work, they would think of ways to do cleaning work. Every bit of money counted. Who did not want to accidentally be chosen by the director? Of course, there were also those who were too tired and stayed in the apartment to read books. Books about acting were their favorite. Because they were not trained in acting, there were no professors to teach them. They could only learn by themselves. Do you think this place can't be lived in? Shirley smiled. When Su Yun called him, he said that although he had to take good care of this young lady, he also had to let her know the hardships of society. Zhang Zixue pursed her lips. Brother Lei, isn't this place a bit too shabby? I don't care about the rent. Can you find a better place? Miss Zhang, this is the best apartment among all the extras. If you don't believe me, you can come with me to take a look at the other apartments. Shirley said, the apartment I found for you even has a private bathroom. You can see the condition here. There is a bathroom on each floor. Some buildings don't even have a bathroom. You have to go to the public bathroom to use the bathroom. You have to go to the public bathroom to get water to wash your face. Zhang Zixue's expression was very ugly. Then can I not live here? Can I live somewhere else? You don't live here? All the extras live here. If you don't live here, can you get work? Shirley smiled. Miss Zhang, you are not a big special agent yet. You don't have a role yet. Don't be so picky. Look, those special agents who make 300 to 500 yuan a day still live here. But I really haven't lived in a place like this. Zhang Zixue said, Please help me. You have to go to the community at 5 a.m. every day. You are a girl. You have to get up early and put on makeup, right? If you don't live here and have to go back and forth every day, what time do you wake up? 3 a.m.? Shirley said, Do you know what time the extras sometimes finish work at night? It might be 12 a.m. when they finish work. Jiang Zixue almost didn't want to continue this dream after hearing Shirley's words. Shirley remembered Su Yun's instructions, saying that if necessary, he could give her some stimulation and prodding. Miss Jiang, I don't think you should experience life. With your relationship with Chairman Su, finding a role in a production team is just a matter of saying a word. Jiang Zixue was unhappy when she heard this. Brother Lei, can you not treat me like I got in through the back door? But Miss Jiang, if you can't accept this and that, what do you want me to do? Shirley said, I've done my best. If you really think it's impossible, then ask Boss Su to help you think of a way. If you don't want to suffer, then start with a big commission. With your image, it shouldn't be a problem. Jiang Zixue was unhappy when she heard this. No, I said that I want to take it one step at a time. I'll live here. Can you really bear it? Shirley smiled. Don't force yourself. If you regret it, then you will have wronged yourself for nothing. I, Jiang Zixue, am a woman of my words. If others can live here, why can't I? I can live here too. Jiang Zixue said, Don't look down on me. I'm sure I can live here. Shirley nodded. I believe you. I definitely believe you. Then I'll take you to the room you want to go to. Su Yun said that he would take care of her. After all, she was born into a rich family. If she was suddenly reduced to the lowest standard of living, it would really make her break down. There was a separate bathroom in the room, which could at least guarantee a private space. Moreover, there were windows in the southeast. The room was bright, and at least it didn't make people feel oppressed. The bed and bedding in the room were also brand new, prepared by Shirley in advance. In the past, there were no curtains here at all. Because of Jiang Zixue's special situation, Shirley even arranged for someone to thread a sheet with iron wire and iron rings to make a simple curtain. Extras were also actors. If actors wanted to become famous, they had to train their faces. It was normal for girls to change their costumes in front of so many men. Anyway, they weren't naked, so it didn't matter. Therefore, when they changed in the room, they didn't care if there were boys peeping on them from the opposite building. However, Jiang Zixue definitely wouldn't be used to and accept this situation. After all, the situation was different. Everyone was born and grew up in different environments, so the bottom line they could accept was also different. Jiang Zixue being able to accept this room was already a big breakthrough for her. The seniors in the circle of extras always tell the newcomers to go back after having fun. Shirley said, It's not that they look down on you. In fact, a lot of them feel despair about this circle. When anyone can't see hope for too long, they will feel despair. You are different from them. I hope you won't be affected by them. Jiang Zixue knew what Shirley meant. She was different from them because she was able to get to know Su Yun through her connections. I want to speak with my ability, Jiang Zixue said. All right. Boss Su also said not to greet the director and assistant director. I believe you can stand out with your image. Shirley smiled. Chapter 24-34. Most of the time, people would be stimulated by difficult conditions. Jiang Zixue was like that. The more difficult it was, the more she would feel an indescribable impulse. Brother Lei, what else do I need to do next? Jiang Zixue said, As long as I have this actor's certificate, I can enter the studio to film, right? Yes. Shirley said, I believe that the crew will take a liking to your image. You should work hard. Jiang Zixue smiled. Then, am I going to stay here today? You can take your certificate and walk around the studio to familiarize yourself with the situation, Shirley said. It won't hurt you to familiarize yourself with it. Now, the three most popular dramas in the studio are ancient dramas, anti-war dramas, and xianxia dramas. These are all TV dramas. Movies won't be filmed in the studio. I know that. Jiang Zixue said, but no one will want me in the film industry. That's only natural. If you want to enter the film industry, you have to at least be an actor. You have to have a certain foundation first. Shirley said, no director will bring unreliable extras to film a movie. Jiang Zishue stuck out her tongue. Extras were unreliable? They were indeed unreliable. The turnover in this industry was very high. Every day, there would be people who would happily enter this industry, and every day, there would be people who would dejectedly leave this industry. Therefore, not everyone could survive in this industry. There were many people who stayed here for a year or two without a penny in their pockets. Thank you for your hard work today, Brother Lei. Jiang Zishue said, how about this? I'll treat you and Chairman Su to a meal in the afternoon. Shirley waved his hand. I still have a lot of things to deal with. If you feel bored later, call him. I'll leave first. This is the key to this place. Keep it well and don't lose it. This place is messy. Remember to lock the door when you go out. Don't leave valuables in the room. I understand. Jiang Zishue nodded. I'll be careful. Don't worry. Save my phone number. If you have any trouble, remember to call. Chairman Su is sometimes busy with meetings and may not have time to answer the phone. Just hit me, I'll definitely help you deal with it. Shirley said, don't believe anyone's word so easily. Remember. Jiang Zishue was a little confused. For example? Don't tell me there's still some kind of deception here? He. Shirley smiled. If someone says that they can bring you out for a meal and get to know a director, then you'd better be on your guard. I understand. Brother Lei wants me to be wary of those scammers, Jiang Zishue said. Shirley smiled awkwardly and said, anyway, you have to be careful. If someone makes such a request to you, remember to find a way to tactfully refuse. I won't be so tactful. Jiang Zishue said, if I meet such hooligans, I'll definitely teach them a lesson. I'll also tell him that I'm taking them out for a meal. I know the boss here, and I'll be able to get them to scram. Shirley didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed that this young lady that Su Yun had met this time wasn't a good person. Who knew if this Jiang Zishue would cause a big commotion in the film studio? My principle is that if people don't offend me, I won't offend them. Jiang Zishue said, if people offend me, I'll definitely punish them. Miss Jiang, you have to be clear about your identity. You're just an extra. Shirley said, okay, you can pack up here first. I'll go back first. Although Shirley left, he still arranged for someone to watch over here. After all, such a beautiful girl like Jiang Zishue was the best of the best in the circle of extras. There would definitely be a lot of flies harassing her. Therefore, he arranged for 2 people to watch over here and try to stop the trouble for her as much as possible. Otherwise, it would distract her and make her upset. No matter what, this was the person that Su Yun arranged after all. After Jiang Zishue sent Shirley off, she packed up her suitcase alone. Although this house had a separate bathroom, the space was a mess. There was only a sink and a toilet. This condition was really unmatched. There was a very simple cloth closet in the room. Jiang Zishue took out the clothes in the suitcase and hung them in it. After a simple tidying up, she realized that there was nothing else to do. Looking at the actor's certificate in her hand, Jiang Zishue was curious for a long time. She didn't expect that being an extra would require a certificate. To be honest, this was completely different from what she thought before coming into contact with this thing. Jiang Zishue went to the film studio alone to take a look. Because it was too big and she was a little tired, she came out after walking for a short while. She really didn't know what she should do. In the end, she called Su Yun. Where are you? Jiang Zishue said, Brother Lei left after sending me to the place. The crew picks people in the morning. There's nothing to do at this time. Su Yun smiled and said, how is it? Did the environment over there surprise you? You'll get used to it slowly. I believe you can do it. Thank you for your encouragement, Jiang Zishue said. To be honest, I really didn't expect it to be so hard. You're the one who wants to experience it, Su Yun said. If you can't really experience it, it won't be called experience. Jiang Zishue nodded. Yes, this will definitely be an unforgettable experience for me. Where are you now? Are you busy with work? Su-yun shook his head. No, I've been busy with your affairs. The suspect who installed the eavesdropping device in your house has been identified. He has a fake identity, called Li Ting. Have you heard of this person? Li Ting? Jiang Zishue shook her head. No, I've never heard of him. Don't worry, I'll do my best to ensure your safety. Su-yun smiled again. However, before you plan to tell me what you don't want to say, I can't guarantee your safety 100%. The place you live now is probably the safest place for you in Qingdao. Do you understand what I mean? Jiang Zishue was stunned for a moment, then said, I have nothing to hide from you. I really don't know who is looking for trouble with me. He. Su-yun didn't speak again. He didn't believe that Jiang Zishue didn't know anything. She definitely didn't want to say it. This was Su-yun's sixth sense. However, he still wouldn't force her to say anything. When she felt that she wanted to say something, she would naturally say it. Where are you? Can we have dinner together tonight? Jiang Zishue asked. Su-yun looked at the time. Forget it, I still have work to do. There are a lot of snacks where you live. Although it's not very hygienic or healthy, I think you should get used to it. Jiang Zishue said helplessly, Do you want me to eat fried chicken on the roadside? Vegetable pancakes? She saw these things on the way when Shi Lei took her to the house. Jiang Zishue was really helpless about this. And yes, it seems that there are knife-shaved noodles, oil-splashed noodles, fried sauce dumplings, and roasted pork tendons. Su-yun, there are also pancakes and egg pancakes. Roasted duck neck and roasted chicken wings are also good choices. Jiang Zishue just listened to it and felt that she had no appetite. I don't want to eat those. Of course not just those. Isn't there a small restaurant there? Su-yun, go and cook your favorite dishes. Ask for a bowl of rice or something. It's pretty good. You eat by yourself. I won't accompany you. Call me if anything happens. Then go and do your work. I won't disturb you. Jiang Zishue hung up the phone reluctantly. To be honest, she really felt a little lonely. The sudden unfamiliar environment and discomfort made her feel a little lost. The only person who could give her a sense of security, Su-yun, couldn't be by her side 24/7. She obviously felt this kind of loneliness. Chapter 24:35. Now, regardless of whether Jiang Zishue was around Su-yun or not, it was a rather relaxing work life for him. He did not know if he really yearned for this kind of life, but he had to admit that this kind of life did not give him any pressure. There were no tasks that he had to complete. All kinds of work could be completed under communication. Although there was still pressure under communication, this kind of pressure was completely different from before. The difference between the two was too great. Therefore, Su-yun still enjoyed this kind of life because he knew very well that his relaxed life could be broken at any time. Everything was unknown. Compared to Su-yun's relaxed work life in Japan, Lin Ge could be said to be another kind of carefree life in Japan. During these days in Japan, CFAIs had already familiarized him with the entire environment. Now, Lin Ge's understanding of Japan had even surpassed that of the Japanese. Over the past few days, CFAIs had also caused a lot of trouble for the Sakura Group. To Hua Xia, the Sakura Group was a mysterious organization. To CFAIs, who had already figured out the Sakura Group's trump card, there was nothing mysterious about the Sakura Group. At this moment, it was already late in Japan. Lin Ge was sitting in a black Toyota business car. The car was parked outside a wealthy area in Kyoto, Japan. The people coming in and out were all rich Japanese. There were Ferraris, Porsches, and everything else. Of course, the Japanese also loved their own domestic Aries GTR. Of course, other than the Aries name, this Nissan GTR was also known as the slum sports car. Its price was not on the same level as other supercars. It was cheap. It broke the lap record of the Porsche 911 GT3 at the Nürburgring racetrack, and its price was much cheaper than the 911 GT3. This was not to promote the Japanese car, but this car was indeed good. This was also the reason why so many Japanese liked it. In the Top Gear lap record, the Slum Supercar GTR easily beat the local Lexus LFA. Even the Audi R8, Porsche 911, Lamborghini, and Ferrari were all defeated by the Slum Supercar. The speed of this thing was comparable to Pagani's Son of the Wind, but the price was much lower. It was no wonder why the Nissan GTR was always in the Fast and the Furious. Just when Lin Guo was feeling a little bored, a violently modified Nissan GTR appeared in his field of vision. It had exaggerated red feet, and the pearl-white body of the car was painted black. In the dark night, the entire upper body of the car seemed to be invisible. "They're out," Lin Guo muttered to himself in a low voice, the corners of his mouth curling up into an imperceptible smile. However, the car didn't give Lin Guo any time to react. The sound waves buzzed and rushed out like a gust of wind. Lin Guo quickly stepped on the accelerator to catch up with her, but the car was too weak. The people in Japan who played with cars were all crazy. They even dared to drift in the highly populated Tokyo. One really had to admire the guts of the Japanese. After only 2 intersections, Lin Guo was already left behind by the war god and couldn't see the headlights. F***CK, the difference is too big. Lin Guo had already stepped on the accelerator of the Toyota business car to the limit, but he couldn't eat the dust at all. The acceleration difference was too big. There was no way to play in this city with so many cars and traffic lights. People could accelerate past 100 in 2 or 3 seconds at a traffic light. Even if Lin Guo stepped on the accelerator, it would take more than 10 seconds for such a heavy business car to reach 100. It was a completely different concept. Lin Guo quickly dialed CFAI's number. "Brother, I can't catch up at all. She's driving a war god, and I'm driving an Alpha. She has 600 horsepower, and I don't know what it's been modified to. When she steps on the accelerator, it's like a dinosaur farting. How can I catch up?" "Then there's no need to chase." CFAI smiled. "I told you before that his daughter only has 3 cars. She goes to school in a Mercedes-Benz RV, and she takes a Lexus to dinner parties or gatherings. Since she's driving that war god this time, there's obviously an event tonight." Lin Guo was startled. "You're saying that this girl went to play with cars?" "That's right." CFAI's nodded. "She's an avid car fan, and she's quite famous in Tokyo's drifting circle. Normally, she takes great care of her war god. It's said that the cost of modifying this car is far more than twice the value of the car itself." Lin Guo shook his head helplessly. "Then she might as well just go straight to the Lamborghini. But as far as I know, a 750 horsepower Lamborghini Aventador in Tokyo was instantly overrun by her war god," CFAI said. "No way. An 8 million car was instantly overrun by a 2 million car?" Lin Guo was startled. "A good bull must have been bought by a retard. She doesn't know how to drive, right? Her car was modified by Japan's best car modification team. Including the cost of the modification, that war god is probably worth over 6 million. I'm afraid the horsepower of the car has been modified to at least 800. CFAI said, "No wonder you can't catch up to her." Lin Guo said bitterly, "Then what should I do now?" "Then you go to the Binley Palace Garden. I'm afraid that the Tokyo racers will have a big party tonight." CFAI said, "I'm going there right now." "Brother, I'm driving an Alpha to a racing event?" Lin Guo didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "I'm afraid that even a Mazda MX-5 can kill me in seconds." CFAI said, "We're not asking you to participate in a racing event. What we need to do is to kidnap her. When the time comes, we'll act according to the circumstances. I'm not afraid of anything else. I'm just afraid that their activities will attract the police. When the time comes, they'll all be sports cars, and each of them will be bumpy. I won't be able to escape with this thing." Lin Guo was really hurt by this car, but there was no other way. If they wanted to kidnap someone, they could only use this kind of car with a lot of space. A small sports car only had 2 seats. "Kidnap my ass." CFAI's laughed. "The police aren't fools. Who would think that you're driving an Alpha to race? No one will touch you. Then I'll go first. If I'm really left inside, you have to fish me out. Lin Gu said, there are so many perverts in Japan. I don't want to go to jail. Don't worry. Go. Xie Fei's eyes hung up after saying that. After a few days of familiarizing himself with Tokyo, Lin Gu was no stranger to the Binli Palace Garden. Therefore, it didn't take long for him to find the place. As soon as he arrived near the Binli Palace Garden, Lin Gu was a little shocked. The cars parked on the side of the road were simply amazing. Hundreds of sports cars. Audi R8, Mercedes-Benz SL, Porsche 911, Maserati were all cheap cars. Lamborghinis and Ferraris could be seen everywhere. There were also a few Bentley Continental cars. A McLaren P1 was surrounded by a lot of people. It seemed that this multi-million supercar was today's main character. Lin Gu didn't get out of the car. He sat in the car and observed the movements outside. Because there were too many cars here and the modifications were quite fancy, it was too difficult to distinguish the war god. A 2 million car was too inconspicuous in this pile of supercars. However, at this moment, a familiar figure that he had been staring at for many days appeared. That's right, it was Zhangye Xiaoxi. She wore a pair of extremely sexy tight leather pants. The top of her shirt revealed her navel and her cleavage was also faintly discernible. Although the car was inconspicuous, the person was still quite easy to recognize in the crowd. Zhangye Xiaoxi lit a slender woman's cigarette. Soon, a lot of people surrounded her. Lin Gu rolled down the car window. He roughly understood what was going to happen tonight from the surrounding people. An hour later, Xiaoxi Zhangye was driving her war god and was about to accept the challenge from the owner of the McLaren P1. It was a 26-kilometer race on the coastal road. No matter who lost, they had to accept any request from the other party. Even if the request was for the opponent to drive directly into the sea, they had to agree to it. Zhangye Xiaoxi's expression was very relaxed. She had accepted too many challenges in this place, but she had never lost. She had the same title as her beloved car, War God. In Japan's racing circle, people who didn't know Zhangye Xiaoxi weren't qualified to say that they were people who played with cars. Zhangye Xiaoxi threw the cigarette in her hand to the ground and gently extinguished it with her high heels. She was such a confident person. Even if she was wearing high heels, she could still beat her opponent. After all, cars now used paddles to change gears. She only needed to step on the accelerator and brake with her right foot. Chapter 24:36. Xiaoxi Zhangye walked in front of the organizers and glanced at the opponents who wanted to challenge her. Standing in front of Zhangye Xiaoxi was a short-haired man. He smiled calmly. Miss Zhangye, I'm very happy that you accepted my challenge. I'm called. Just tell me your conditions. What do you want if you win? Zhangye Xiaoxi didn't seem interested in the short-haired man at all. I don't have time to stay here and chat. The short-haired man froze. He was surprised at Zhangye Xiaoxi's aloofness. Okay, then I'll give you a condition. If I win, you have to stay with me for a night. No matter what I ask, you can't refuse me. Zhangye Xiaoxi sneered. Many men had made this request, but no one could beat her. Maybe these men wanted this feeling of conquest. Okay, I agree. Zhangye Xiaoxi said. But if you lose, sorry, I want you to drive your P1 and crash it into a wall. You have to crash it until it's scrapped. Do you dare? Of course I dare. The short-haired man said confidently. Miss Zhangye, I won't lose. I know your war god has been modified, but my P1 isn't that easy to deal with. I'll win for sure. Zhangye Xiaoxi waved her hand in disdain. She ignored her opponent's provocation. Everyone was so confident before they competed with her. If they didn't even have confidence, how could they challenge her? After Lin Gu had a basic understanding of the situation, he immediately called Xie Fei's. Xie Fei's knew where their finish line was, so he went directly to the finish line to wait for him. He told Lin Gu to follow him as soon as the race started. Zhang Xiaxi was the young miss of the Sakura group. If they kidnapped her, the Sakura group would probably fall into chaos in a short period of time. The Sakura group was not a peaceful organization to begin with. The internal struggle for power was a very serious phenomenon. Zhang Xiaxi was also one of the successors. Once she disappeared, there would definitely be internal suspicion. This was the result that Lin Gu and CFAIs wanted. Of course, this was only the first step. After capturing Jiang Yi and Xia Shi, they would carry out the next step of the plan. They had to destroy the Sakura group internally. Under the night sky, the crazy racing on the Tokyo Expressway would always affect ordinary people. Ordinary people would not want to encounter so many crazy people on the road. Although car modification was a culture in Japan, most people wouldn't accept it. Hua Xia's inspection of car racing was much stricter than Japan's. Although there were many rich second generations who had nowhere to spend their money, such crazy situations would not occur in urban areas. Jiang Zixue ordered a plate of stir-fried prawns and a plate of stir-fried broccoli, and ate half a bowl of rice. This was already the best restaurant in the area. Although she had been sitting quietly in the corner, she still became the focus of many people because she seemed to be out of place here. The people who ate here would definitely not order things like prawns, unless they wanted to invite some influential people in the crew. Then they would order some more expensive dishes. Usually, when one ate alone, they would casually buy something on the street. When 2 or 3 people were celebrating, they would come to the restaurant to stir-fry shredded potatoes, order peanuts, and drink 2 bottles of beer. Therefore, Jiang Zixue was seen as a different person. Moreover, her dressing was also out of place with the extras here. She was dressed in branded clothes, which was really eye-catching. Just when Jiang Zixue was almost done eating and was about to leave, a bearded man wearing a hat and a large pocket vest walked in, surrounded by a few people. "Director Cheng, you really have to leave a few roles for me in this movie. My subordinates will definitely perform well. They definitely won't let you down." "Of course. What's Brother Cheng's level now?" "He's the director. It's just a matter of a sentence. Today, let's accompany Brother Cheng and have a drink." The bearded man waved his hand. "Keep a low profile. Brothers, keep a low profile. I'm just an assistant director. Compared to the director, I'm much worse." "Don't. An assistant director is still a director. His words have weight." "Yes, yes, yes. They have weight. They definitely have weight." These people flattered each other louder than the last. Because the restaurant didn't have private rooms, the group sat at the largest table in the middle. "Director Cheng, that sister of mine has always been very hard-working. This time, don't let her act as a palace maid. At least let her act as a personal maid with a few more lines." The bearded man glanced at the person beside him. "Which sister? You have so many lovers. How would I know which one? How about this? Let her come to my room at 11 tonight. I'll interview her first." Director Cheng, since you've said so, of course. I'll ask her to bring a few more sets of beautiful clothes for you to interview." These people were all implying something. Acting as a maid was an ancient drama. It was impossible to wear modern clothes. Besides, was there a need to change clothes for an interview? Moreover, it was 11 o'clock at night. "Then for my role, Director Cheng, do you think? Give it to an official who can go to the palace every day?" This person finally brought up his real goal. "That will depend on your sister's performance." "Ha ha ha ha." The bearded man laughed brightly. Some girls would cling to these male actors who had a relationship with the assistant director for the sake of their roles. These male actors were basically the most important actors in small franchises. Not only would they take advantage of the girls, but they would also use their bodies in exchange for better roles. There were some messy things that couldn't be explained in a few words. Jiang Zixue felt disgusted when she saw these kinds of people, especially those assistant directors of lousy dramas. Other than using the little power in their hands to get some ignorant, inexperienced little girls who like to daydream, what else could they do? Although this film city was built by Sky Entertainment Corporation, it wasn't just a filming location for Sky Entertainment Corporation's movies and TV shows. There were also many film crews who rented and filmed here. That was why Soo-yoon said that this industry was very messy. A famous director once said that the entertainment industry was a whore's industry. Although this was a bit radical, it really described the chaotic state of this industry. In the past, this industry was called the literary world. It was very respected. Now it was called the entertainment industry. It was actually quite bad. No one took it seriously. Perhaps no one would have expected such a big change in the status and views of an industry. However, this was the reality. In the past, people were very proud when they said they were actors. Now, if they said they were actors, people would roll their eyes. This was probably why those old actors in the literary world refused to admit that they were in the entertainment industry. The entertainment industry had been dirted. The entertainment industry was too fake. Everything was fake. There were many young artists now. Companies wanted to package them. Just make up this news for him today and that news tomorrow. This was the most basic method. Sky Entertainment would also do this to train newcomers. There was no other way. If they couldn't attract attention, they couldn't get popularity. Fortunately, Sky Entertainment would never cover up the ugly news. Things like exposure, sex, and so on were all clowns. Things like gangsters, drugs, and all kinds of scandals were the real ugly ones. Would people really pay attention to them? And the most unacceptable thing was the word potential. If you wanted to act, you had to sleep first. This kind of thing was very common. How many people were guessing how many people an actor had to sleep with to be the main lead? No one could say for sure. This chaotic situation was also what Soo-yoon wanted to change. That was why he was so strict with Sky Entertainment's artists. That was why he put so much effort into the movies and TV shows that Sky Entertainment invested in. He didn't want this industry to be so dirty. The literary world should be filled with the passion and romance of revolution. It should be filled with art and taste. It shouldn't become a garbage dump. It should be filled with the hustle and bustle of money. It should be filled with whore and unrighteousness. Jung Zishue couldn't listen to the people at the table anymore. She directly got up and paid the bill. Then she strode out of the restaurant. She didn't notice that the people at the table had already noticed her. After all, she was a beautiful woman with a beautiful body and face. How could she not attract the attention of men? Chapter 24:37. Chang Huzi looked at Zhang Zishue's back and touched his beard. The people around him knew Chang Huzi's temperament too well. Once he touched his beard, it meant that he had an idea. "Brother Cheng, have you taken a fancy to that girl? Hee hee. Do you want me to ask around for you?" The crew cut guy on the right smiled and poured wine for Chang Huzi. Cheng Huzi grinned. "I didn't expect there to be such a stunner in the extras' nest. Isn't it a pity?" "Director Chung, I'll ask my brother to follow her out and see if she's from our circle," the crew cut guy on the left said with a smile. The man with a shawl on his left said with a smile. Then, he patted the little brother next to him, indicating that he should go out and see what was going on. Cheng Huzi was very satisfied. He smiled and raised his glass. "It's my luck to have friends like you in Qingdao. Ha ha ha. Come, let's drink." "Yes, yes, yes. Let's drink with brother Cheng first." The crew cut guy hurriedly poured wine for himself and raised his glass. The man with the cape also raised the wine glass in his hand in a panic and stood up. "Then I wish Director Cheng will become a great director of our new generation in the future. Sit, sit, sit. Let's all sit down and drink." Chung Huzi waved his hand and everyone sat down. There were also extras eating at a few small tables nearby. They were so envious of those who could sit next to the assistant director and eat. If they were given the chance, they would definitely flatter him even more and lick his shoes even more. As long as they could exchange for a role, many people would throw away their dignity without hesitation. This was because they knew all too well that in the circle of extras, dignity was worthless. If you wanted to live with dignity, if you wanted the director to speak to you with a smile, and if you wanted everyone in the crew to nod and bow to you, then you had to at least be a B-lister. Otherwise, why would you want to be respected? You didn't deserve that respect at all. There were so many people in the circle. No one would treat an extras the same as an A-lister. That was impossible. Dignity was something to fight for. Before you had a status, dignity could be thrown to the ground and trampled on. You could pick it up when you were famous. All the extras wanted to be Wang Chongbao, but why was there only one Wang Chongbao among the 500,000 Beijing drifters? It wasn't just because of fate. He started working as an extra when he was 14 or 15 years old. Because he had a foundation in martial arts, he worked as a stunt double for others. In chivalry, he acted as an officer that you would never remember. No one knew how much he had suffered before he acted in a world without thieves, so don't even think about becoming him. At this time, the underling who went out hurriedly ran back and said to Chang Huzi and the man with the cape, "Director Chang, I saw it. She went into the apartment over there. She must be someone from the circle of extras. She can't run away. Otherwise, who would live in a tube-shaped apartment? Which floor? Which room?" The man with the cape asked. I didn't follow him." The man with the cape wanted to raise his hand and give this guy a punch. He couldn't even do such a small thing well. What AF * king piece of trash. Tell me, what else can you do? Telling Director Cheng just this little bit of information? Do you still want to act? Chang Huzi waved his hand and pretended not to care. All right. It's just a small matter. There's no need for that. Come, let's drink. The man with the crew cut moved his face forward. Brother Cheng, if you like that girl just now, leave it to me. I will definitely find out for you. Hee, as long as she wants to be an actress, as long as you can give her a role, isn't it too easy for her to send herself to your door? Chang Huzi grinned happily, but he said, "You can't talk nonsense. I am a person with principles." Ha, principles. If you want to be on the show, you need to have real talent and ability. I won't bring anyone without ability. That's a must. Brother Cheng, I will drink first. The man with the crew cut finished his words. Chang Huzi also took a big gulp and said in a low voice, "Brother, don't forget what you said just now. I think that girl is a moldable talent. As long as there is a role for her, she will definitely succeed." Brother Cheng, I understand. I understand what you said. The man with the crew cut said. Seeing that the relationship between the two had improved, the man with the cape was a little disappointed. If it was not because his people did not do things well, the man with the crew cut would not be in the limelight here. The man with the crew cut poured wine for Chang Huzi and said, "Brother Chang, you said last time that you will arrange a brother who can act opposite the main character. Is it true?" "Of course it's true." Chang Huzi said, "I have spent a lot of effort on this aspect. When you get the role, you must work hard for me. Don't let me be scolded by the director because of you. Do you understand? You must work hard." The man with the crew cut smiled brightly. "I will definitely work hard. Hee, Brother Cheng, when do you think I will arrange for that girl to interview you? How about tonight?" Chang Huzi drank a few more glasses of wine. Now, his mind was really empty. During this period of time, the preparation of the production team was very tiring. He did not have time to relax and rest. "Director Cheng, didn't you just say that I will let my little sister interview you tonight?" She has already prepared the clothes. Female nurse, female servant, bunny girl, policewoman. She is very well prepared." The man with the cape was a little disappointed. Chang Huzi laughed and patted the shoulder of the man with the cape. "Brother, you can rest assured. I will definitely do what I promised you. Your little sister is not in a hurry. It is not too late to interview me tomorrow." Ha. Yes. The man with the cape laughed a few times. The man with the crew cut said to him, "Brother Ma, it is just a matter of a day. Brother Cheng is in the mood today. As brothers, we naturally have to help Brother Cheng. Don't you think so? That is natural. Although the man with the cape said so, he did not think so in his heart. If the girl that Cheng Huzi took a fancy to was good enough, she would directly take down Cheng Huzi and get the most important role of the maid. Wouldn't that be a big loss? The important role of the maid could not be underestimated. For example, a role like Jin Suo had a precedent of being popular. Cheng Huzi raised his wine glass. Come, I brought some wine. Then, let's eat more. I am a little tired today. I will not accompany you to drink until late. I will go back to the movie hotel directly. Speaking of this, Cheng Huzi deliberately looked at the man with the crew cut. Do you still remember my room number? I remember, of course, I remember. The man with the crew cut nodded. Then, the earlier the better. He, I am too tired these few days. I want to go back and take a bath. Someone can give me a massage. Cheng Huzi said, Brother, it is up to you. Brother Cheng, you can rest assured. If I don't arrange this well, I will bring my head to you. The man with the crew cut said. Cheng Huzi laughed. What do I need your head for? It can only be kicked like a ball. It can't be used to vent my anger. Ha 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 ha. Several people accompanied Cheng Huzi and laughed. The whole dinner table was very harmonious. Except for the man with the shawl who was a little unhappy, everything was very harmonious. After a few glasses of wine, the food was almost finished. Cheng Huzi stood up shakily. Then, he went to his car and returned to the hotel under the escort of the driver. The man with the shawl and the crew cut outside the car nodded and bowed until the taillights could not be seen. Then, they heaved a sigh of relief and stood up straight. This Cheng Huzi is really a beast. He wants to *CK every girl he sees. I really don't know what is in this grandson's mind. The man with the crew cut spat. He took out a cigarette and handed it to the man with the shawl. He lit one himself. The man with the shawl took the cigarette. You are good. I have already arranged it. You still want to snatch it from me. Brother Ma, don't misunderstand. I really don't mean that. The man with the crew cut said, It is good for us to coax this ancestor. I am also doing this to establish our relationship with him. As for the girl over there, it is okay to let it go for a day. Cheng Huzi, this perverted pig, will ask you for it sooner or later. The man with the shawl sighed. It could only be like this. But now, he was more worried about how the man with the crew cut would deal with the girl. What are you going to do? Of course, I am going to find that girl. The man with the crew cut took a deep puff of the cigarette. As long as I find the weakness, no one will not obey. And here, everyone has a common weakness. Chapter 24:38. The man with the shawl and the crew cut whispered and discussed for a long time. After several inquiries, they found out that the girl just moved in today. What worried them more was that the few people who inquired said that the girl was brought in by Shirley. Everyone in this place knew that Shirley was in charge of the whole circle of extras. He was the brother of Sky Entertainment Group's CEO Sue. If the girl was Shirley's woman, then there was no chance. However, they also found out that Shirley had left after bringing her here. The two of them didn't seem to be particularly familiar with each other. As a result, their hearts were filled with hope. Perhaps Shirley was a little more enthusiastic because of this girl's beauty. Maybe he was also thinking about it. But as long as he didn't think about it, it didn't matter. In the first place, no one would take the girls in this place seriously. There were plenty of girls who had slept with the group leader, the crew, and even the special actors. Since the crew cut had promised Cheng Huzi, they couldn't let Cheng Huzi wait for too long. Cheng Huzi returned to the hotel to take a shower. It would take at most an hour. So, they had to persuade the girl to come to him personally. Brother Ma, I will go up and give it a try first. The crew cut said. Don't worry about it. If there are benefits, it will be benefits for both of us. We don't care about each other. Okay, then you go up and give it a try. What if the girl doesn't agree? The man with the shawl said. Are you going to do it by force or? They really had to consider this point. After all, they had just arrived. These people who had just arrived often couldn't accept too much. They didn't know how precious this opportunity was before they were disappointed here. These people who liked the unspoken rules could only be described as shameless. After eating and sleeping with someone, they arranged a meaningless role for her. Some people even promised to give her a close-up, but in the end, they only gave her a close-up. That was to say, she had to face the main character directly and show the back of her head. If he met someone who knew how to steal the limelight, he would be able to find a way to show his face. If he met someone who didn't know how to steal the limelight, he would be so tired that all he could show was the back of his head. It's better not to use force. If there's really no other way, then I can only. The crew cut scratched his head. Brother Ma, if that's really the case, I'll call you. You can drive the car over. I'll think of a way to knock him out and carry him down. Let's try not to do this kind of thing. The man with the shawl said. Moreover, she didn't take the initiative to deliver herself to him. Chung Huzi might not dare to eat her. If you send a fainted girl to him and he eats her, this girl will insist that she didn't do it willingly. Then we will be committing a crime. The crew cut said, Brother, don't worry. If that's the case, it won't be our turn to be unlucky. Chung Huzi will definitely find a way to suppress this matter. At most, he will directly arrange an actor for her. In the future, no matter what show she is in, he will arrange a role for her. That's hard to say. The man with the cape was still a little nervous. What's hard to say? The crew cut said, that's equivalent to being taken care of by Chang Huzi. He will take her wherever he goes. It's okay if she is unwilling the first time. As long as Chang Huzi's conditions are suitable, and she is willing to have sex with him the second time, then this matter will be settled. The man with the cape grinned. Forget it. What else can he do now? The crew cut smiled. It's a pity that this good cabbage has been taken by the pig. When can we become famous? By then, there will be countless women throwing themselves at us. You should try your best to find a way to resolve this matter peacefully. The man with the cape said, Say more good words. Maybe you can persuade her. The crew cut nodded confidently. He had fooled too many girls like this, so he was quite experienced. According to the room he inquired about, the crew cut directly found Jiang Zishue's door. However, before he could knock on the door, two people came out from the room next door and stared at him. The crew cut was shocked. He looked at the two people and faked a smile. You haven't slept yet, he. What are you doing? These two people were arranged by Shirley to keep watch here. When they heard the noise, they naturally came out to see what was going on. The crew cut saw that the two people's tone was unfriendly. He straightened his back and said, I don't have to report what I do to you, right? Who are you? I can tell that you're up to no good when you're sneaking around. Who are you talking about? Who is being sneaky? I am here to visit a friend. Why? Did I offend you? The crew cut said, When did you come? Do you know who I am? Do you know my relationship with the leaders here? You still dare to challenge me. Do you believe that I will make you move out tomorrow? The two people Shirley had arranged smiled disdainfully. Big Brother Shirley had the final say on anything related to the extras in this place. This crew cut guy actually didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Jiang Zishue heard the noise outside and couldn't help but open the door curiously. She saw three men at the door and said, It's late. If you want to quarrel, go outside. Don't disturb other people's rest. Just as she was about to close the door, the crew cut hurriedly said, Beauty, I am here for you. Jiang Zishue was stunned. The voice sounded familiar, but she had never seen this person before. Because when they were in the restaurant, Jiang Zishue didn't even bother to look at them. Why are you looking for me? Jiang Zishue glanced at the crew cut. The two people in charge of protecting Jiang Zishue couldn't help but say, Kid, don't cause trouble here. I don't have time to deal with the two of you. The crew cut was a wily old fox. He thought that the two guys were extras, so he didn't take them seriously. His target was Jiang Zishue. I'm a special cast member of this place. Today, one of the directors of our crew accidentally saw you and felt that your image was very good, so he asked me to inquire about you. It wasn't easy for me to find you, so I wonder if we can talk inside? Jiang Zishue was stunned. It seemed that she could easily stand out. Which crew is it? Beauty, don't believe what others say so easily. The two people beside her reminded her. Jiang Zishue glanced at them. Thank you, but I will take care of my own business. You don't have to worry about me. Yeah, it's not up to others to talk about your own business. The crew cut also ostracized the two. Shirley had told them not to reveal their identities unless it was absolutely necessary. They didn't know if Jiang Zishue would be disgusted by this, so they had to be more careful. Therefore, the two of them didn't know if they should make a prompt decision. Come in and talk. Jiang Zishue said to the crew cut. The two of them had no choice but to make way for the crew cut. However, they were very cautious outside, listening to the movements inside. The crew cut walked in smugly and looked at Jiang Zishue with a flattering smile. Beauty, you live alone. The environment here is good. Just say what you want to say. Jiang Zishue said, I don't like people wasting my time. I just want to know what the show is about. This is the most heavily invested Qing dynasty drama this year. It's not inferior to the popular Zhanhuan in all aspects. The crew cut started bragging. Jiang Zishue said in disdain, Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? The last popular Qing dynasty drama was Princess Pearl. How many years has it been since Zhanhuan? So, the next popular Qing dynasty drama might take a few more years, right? No. It's much more advanced now. The crew cut said, Pretty girl, just trust me. I guarantee that once you enter this show, you will be extremely popular. You should know that a maid in Zhanhuan can get a third female lead role if she goes out now. I really don't know about this. I really don't understand. Jiang Zishue said, Since your crew has taken a fancy to me, did the crew come to find me? You said you are a special guest? Then you are not much better than us extras, right? You are also not a big role. Beauty, I can tell that you're new here and don't know the rules. Ha ha ha. The crew cut said, I'm indeed just a small special guest. It's not a big role, but I'm close to the crew and the director, so... Jiang Zishue was a little impatient. Just say it. Chapter 2439. Hearing Jiang Zishue's direct words, the crew cut lowered his voice and said, It's like this. Our director said that there are still a few roles missing. They are all the female leads' maids. You said that you don't know the maids from Zhanhuan Zhuan, but you must know Jean Suo from Princess Pearl, right? How popular is that? Director Cheng? Jiang Zishue suddenly found the voice familiar. She looked at the crew cut and said, Director Chang is the bearded man, right? You were at the restaurant today. Beauty, you have a good memory. We ate at that restaurant. Director Chang took a fancy to you then. The crew cut said, I want to invite you for an interview now. Jiang Zishue sneered in her heart. These people really treated the unspoken rules as a blatant rule. The elegant art circle had turned into the dirty entertainment circle today because of people like them. They were tainted by people like them. Since Director Chang has taken a fancy to me, do you still need me for an interview? Jiang Zishue said. His words were incoherent. How dare he lie? Of course. After all, there are a few roles. I want to see what kind of roles you are suitable for. The crew cut looked like an experienced person. Afraid that Jiang Zishue would not believe him, he added, The maids of the Empress have to be ruthless, the maids of the concubines have to be low-key, and the maids of the protagonists have to be considerate. They are all different kinds of roles. So, if I don't go for an interview today, I won't get the role? Jiang Zishue said. The crew cut nodded meaningfully. You don't believe me? There are so many extras here. This kind of role can only be given by special agents. You are in trouble. I've never believed in things that fall from the sky. Jiang Zishue said, You look like a small special agent. How can you arrange such a role for me? Do you think I will believe you? The crew cut was stunned. Then, what do you mean? Am I not clear enough? Jiang Zishue said, I mean, you have found the wrong person. People like you will never become real actors because you didn't come here for your dreams. You are just bugs in the entertainment industry. The crew cut's face changed when he heard Jiang Zishue's words. He was very unhappy. I despise people like you the most. Jiang Zishue said, It was originally an artistic circle, but look at how corrupted it has become by people like you. You, listen to me clearly. I am warning you. Who do you think you are? The crew cut was angry. Don't be shameless. There are many girls like you here. Why are you pretending to be virtuous? Do you really think you can become a star with your ability? Stop joking. That's impossible. Jiang Zishue didn't even bother to look at him. Then I won't become a pawn for people like you. Are you going or not? This is the last time I'm telling you. You won't get a chance like this even once a year. The crew cut man said fiercely. I really don't care. Jiang Zishue opened the door to see the guest out. The two people outside the door were relieved were worse, said Jiang Zixu. However, the crew cut didn't intend to leave. He threatened Jiang Zishue. If you don't go with me, don't think about working here tomorrow. You've blocked your own path. They asked you to get lost. Why are you still here? Hurry up and leave. Otherwise, we won't be polite to you. The two people at the door were ready to fight. The crew cut had a bad temper. He pointed at the two people at the door and said arrogantly, Who do you think you are? Do you believe that I can make you two useless with one call? Do you know how many brothers I have downstairs? I don't care how many brothers you have. Get lost now. The two people at the door couldn't hold back their temper. They dragged the crew cut out. This completely ruined Little Crew Cut's plan. Little Crew Cut was unhappy. He waved his fists and wanted to fight with the two of them. However, with his small body, he was no match for these two people. After all, these two people had been in the underworld with Shirley in the past. They didn't even blink when dealing with this kind of small fry. They easily beat up the crew cut guy until his face was bruised and swollen. The crew cut couldn't swallow his anger. He rolled and crawled downstairs. The shawl man downstairs saw the crew cut's miserable appearance and wanted to call his brothers upstairs to settle the score. When the two people upstairs realized the danger, they didn't care about hiding their identity. They asked Jiang Zishue to close the door and go back to the room. The two of them were like door guards, blocking the door. Of course, they wouldn't wait for death. They immediately notified Shirley. When Shirley received the call, he immediately rushed over with a few people who were on the night shift at the film studio. The crew cut guy pointed at the two of them and scolded, If I don't cripple the two of you today, I won't be able to stay in this place anymore. Brothers, let's kill them both. A chaotic battle immediately broke out. Jiang Zishue heard it clearly. She didn't expect to get into trouble on her first day here. At this moment, she really wanted to give Su Yun a call. However, for the sake of her face and dignity, she put down the phone in her hand. How could she look for Su Yun for such a small matter? Su Yun would be very tired. She didn't want to be a burden in the eyes of others. She believed that she could handle today's matter. After all, there were people outside the door helping her. As long as she insisted on not opening the door, she believed that the other party couldn't do anything to her. They definitely couldn't do anything to her. Soon, the sound of a few cars came from downstairs. Shirley brought more than 10 people to the scene. At this time, the two brothers guarding the door were also beaten black and blue. The other party also suffered a big loss. The crew cut, the man with the cape, and their brothers all had black circles around their eyes and red mouths. Bleeding from their noses was nothing. Some even lost a few teeth. Stop! Shirley shouted angrily. The whole building seemed to tremble. Everyone here, whether they were veterans or rookies, whether they were special guests or not, whether they were characters or not, all of them knew Shirley. Because he was the leader of all the actors here. As long as you weren't a big shot or a famous star, you had to be under his management. When the crew cut and the man with the cape saw that it was Shirley, their attitudes immediately changed. They kept calling him Brother Lay, as if they were very familiar with him. Their purpose was to complain first. However, Shirley ignored them. Instead, he said to his two brothers, "What's going on?" "Brother Lay, these bastards wanted to harass Miss Jiang, but we kicked them out. This crew cut brought people here to cause trouble." Although Shirley had washed his hands of the gold basin and become a staff member of Sky Entertainment Studio, the gangster aura on him couldn't be removed easily. He pulled the crew cut up and slapped him. "What are you doing here?" The crisp slap woke the crew cut up. It seemed that the girl was really Shirley's woman. They were really looking for trouble. "Brother Lay, I'm sorry. I didn't know she was your woman. I really didn't know," the crew cut cried. "I had no choice. It's the director of the crew. I'm just running errands for him." Shirley pointed downstairs. "This is the 3rd floor. You won't die if you throw me down. If you don't explain everything to me today, I'll throw you down here." After that, Shirley pointed at the others. "You all are one. If you don't explain everything, all of you can go down. Whether you break a leg or an arm, it depends on your luck. Tell me, which director?" The few of them had long been frightened by Shirley. Now, whatever Shirley told them to say, they would say it. They absolutely didn't dare to disobey in any way. As long as Shirley said something, they would scramble to answer without hiding anything. In this place, if you offended an assistant director, you could still make a living. But if you offended Shirley, you might not even be able to live, let alone make a living. Who didn't know what Shirley used to do? Even if he had washed his hands of the gold basin, he still had a group of brothers who hadn't washed their hands. Was the loss of a human life a big deal to them? Chapter 2440. Shirley looked at the man with the shawl and the crew cut unhappily. "You guys are really daring. Mr. Su just issued 5 orders, and the first one is to control potential. This is really not what we want to do. Brother Lay, give us a chance. We won't do it again. We won't do it again," the man with the shawl said bitterly. "Don't believe him. If the shameless assistant director didn't take a fancy to me today, he would have recommended a girl to the assistant director for an interview." Jiang Zishue said, "You guys better not believe him. People like him can't change. Forget it. Swearing makes me look bad." Shirley chuckled. When Su Yun handed Jiang Zishue over to him, he knew that something would happen if he threw such a beauty into the crowd. He just didn't expect it to happen so early. The man with the shawl almost knelt down and kowtowed to Jiang Zishue. "Beauty, I beg you to say something good for Brother Lay. We won't do it again. Brother Lay, what are you going to do?" Jiang Zishue looked at Shirley. She didn't know the rules here. Since they violated Mr. Su's orders, will the punishment be very serious? Break their arms and legs. Shirley said casually. Of course, if there was really a punishment, it wouldn't be so serious. After all, they weren't in the underworld. Jiang Zishue stared and said, "So serious? No way. How do you want to deal with it?" Shirley said, "Whatever you want to do, I'll listen to you. I can explain it to Mr. Su. Don't beat them. They've been beaten hard enough. Just let them leave here." Jiang Zishue said, "If they leave this circle and do something else, they won't have such bad thoughts." The crew cut was crying. "No, Brother Lay, you can't drive me away. We can't do anything after we leave. We don't know anything. We can't do anything except be actors. I beg you, don't drive me away. Do you really think that anyone can be an actor?" Shirley said, "Let me tell you, right now, CEO Su wants to improve the quality of the actors. Look at what kind of people Sky Entertainment has signed. Not only are they professional students, but they also have to have a certain level of cultural quality. Sky Entertainment didn't sign any of those who only know how to twist and turn, do their hair, and put on a cool face. Do you think people like you who have nothing can really become real actors? The man with the cape firmly believed in this point. As long as we work hard, we will definitely be able to do it. Didn't Wang Chongbao make it this way? Don't King flatter yourself. Are you on the same level as him? Shirley was speechless. Then our image is not good. Let's walk the path of Brother Bo, the crew cut guy said. Let's walk the comedy path. Do you know that Brother Bo is from the Beijing Film Academy? Shirley almost wanted to slap these two grandsons. Who said that Brother Bo's image is bad? Brother Bo dares to play any role. Do you think that Brother Bo can't play the role of an aloof CEO? He simply couldn't be bothered to play with those idol-type youngsters. How can you compare to a movie king worth 5 billion? But. No buts. Get out of here. Shirley directly interrupted the two of them. You are the same type as that yellow shit digger. You are even more shameless than him. He more or less went out to cheat because he has a bit of fame. What about you? Isn't this *T? The crew cut felt like dying now. Brother Lei, Director Cheng really took a liking to her. There's nothing we can do. I will naturally deal with Director Cheng's matter. Shirley said, now it's your problem. You have two choices. I will throw you out, or you will pack up and leave. We don't want to leave. The man with the cape was really crying. He was much more realistic than when he was filming. Shirley waved his hand and said to his subordinates, do it. These people had been with Shirley before. Although they had followed Shirley for a long time, they still dared to do anything as long as Shirley said the word. The crew cut guy and the man with the cape were so scared that their faces turned pale. They hurriedly waved their hands and begged for mercy. The two of them swore that they would immediately pack up and leave. In the future, they would never let Shirley see them again. If I see you again, it won't be so simple. Shirley threatened coldly. He was not joking. This kind of scum should be kicked out early. Otherwise, they would never know how to be a person. Jiang Zixue watched as they scrambled to escape. She said to Shirley, thank you, Brother Lei. You are welcome. Shirley said lightly. Did you arrange for these two people? Jiang Zixue asked. Shirley did not deny it. Miss Jiang, this circle is very messy. You will definitely encounter some trouble. I asked them to stay here for your safety. Facts have proven that my arrangement was right. Jiang Zixue nodded. Yes, this circle is indeed much more messy than I thought. I really can't believe that I would encounter the unspoken rules on my first day here. Shirley said, actually, many big directors pay more attention to this. They won't do this kind of thing casually. Of course. Those who can interact with big directors are all A-listers and B-listers. Big directors don't care about the small masses. Jiang Zixue said, the people who are causing trouble here are those who have a little power in the crew. These people use their power to do whatever they want. Shirley smiled bitterly. It was not so easy to completely eliminate this phenomenon. It's that Director Cheng they're talking about. He has a big beard and is the assistant director of some Qing dynasty drama. He said that he has the right to choose the roles. He has his eyes on quite a lot of girls, Jiang Zixue said. People like him should be ruined. Shirley said, that bearded man with the surname Cheng isn't actually an assistant director. He's just a person who manages all sorts of miscellaneous matters. They gave him the title of assistant director. They said that the roles they can arrange are all very ordinary roles. Sometimes, they can't even arrange for a maidservant. They can only arrange for a palace maid to stand behind the character for an entire day. Jiang Zixue said, but some people can't even get the role of a palace maid even if they want to. We still need their help. After all, they are part of the crew. Their words are still useful. Shirley said, this is really something that can't be avoided. Then what about Su Yun? Can't he avoid it? Jiang Zishue said, since he wants to clean up the mess in this circle, isn't this bearded man a good starting point? Shirley was stunned. Kill one to warn the others? I definitely don't know what to do as well as you guys. You guys are the managers of the film studio. Jiang Zishue smiled. I'm just an ordinary girl with a dream to be an extra. Shirley laughed. Then you should rest early. You still have to wake up early tomorrow. Thank you for today. Jiang Zishue said, Brother Lei, you are so considerate. When I have time, I will treat you and Chairman Su to a meal. Shirley nodded and left with his people. Jiang Zishue closed the door and returned to her room. It seemed that she had really underestimated this dragon's den. It was said that this circle was messy, but she didn't expect it to be so messy. However, Jiang Zishue was still very optimistic about Su Yun. She believed that there must be someone who could turn the tide and change the current situation of this circle with his own strength. Let the entertainment circle return to the artistic circle of the past, let all the filth disappear, and rediscover the art and culture of the past. Huaxia was such a great country. Art was something that must exist. Of course, this couldn't just rely on Su Yun's own strength. It also needed many people to stand up. Don't cheat on a mistress just because you are a little famous. Don't try to taste drugs just because you are a big shot. Don't play by the unspoken rules. If you really need it, learn from Haiba and spend money to find someone to play with. Although you will be scolded, dirty, it is much cleaner than those messing around. Jiang Zishue encountered this kind of thing on her first night here. She really didn't know what kind of things she would encounter next. Perhaps in a month's time here, she could experience things that she wouldn't have experienced in years? Forget it, it was meaningless to think so much. She would take one step at a time. She would face what she had to face. Now what she had to do was to conserve her energy. She still had to wake up early tomorrow morning to wait for the crew to recruit. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.